Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again for a sensational new show with that one. Blue Motion Broadcasting System.
Hello everyone, welcome to Light Table Talk. I'm your host Atop.
This is Mohit.
And I'm Sean.
So, Mr. J, good morning. The Prime Minister and the Attorney General have charged you for defamation. In my opinion, I think you deserve it.
In my opinion, I think you're wrong, but then that's me. So that's the first question you're going to go with, is it?
Yeah, that's the first one.
Okay, I need to think about this, of course.
I hope I didn't blindside you.
A bit shocked, but I'm all good, man. I'm used to shocks, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
So, okay.
Okay guys, before we start the episode, we have a very exceptional guest today. Mr. J.I. Good Morning. He's very known on TikTok for talking about problems or issues that Singaporeans face. So for this episode, we will be a bit more careful in what we speak, as there are certain sensitive topics, and also that you guys need to know that we will be referring to some notes because we don't want to get any false information out there, if you know what I mean. So, yep.
So before we start, don't forget to always subscribe to our YouTube. Also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and also our Spotify.
Guys, get your espresso ready, get your monster,
Get your
Red
thinking
Bull.
caps on, guys.
Yeah, put your thinking caps because you guys are going to wake the fuck up after watching our episode.
Let's go.
Okay. Mr. J,
Yes,
glad
sir.
to have you on.
I'm glad. I feel privileged that you guys call me. You guys look so cool. And I wanted to wear, my Chauka t-shirt. But my wife said, no, these guys are too cool for you. You need to look cool. So I got my jacket on and so on. So
It's nice.
We have been waiting a really long time to get you on.
that's
Yeah.
bullshit, man.
No, that's true.
Seriously.
Before we started this podcast,
Okay.
you were one of the first people we messaged,
Okay.
and you said, guys, I don't think it's good for you because, it might lead to some certain bad outcomes.
Yeah. I always give fatherly advice. But it doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in trouble. I wish I had a father like me right now. So when did you guys start, man? This is going to be my interview now. When did you all start now?
I would say 7 months ago, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
around
okay.
that time.
Okay.
Yeah, around 7 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's start with let's go light first.
Okay.
Can we have a simple introduction of yourself, like
What do you want to know?
growing up in Singapore?
Oh, okay. Singaporean. A lot of people ask me if I was Nigerian. I get this question all the time. What is this African guy talking about Singapore? No disrespect to Africans, of course. Singaporean. Grew up in Singapore. Both parents from South India. My grandfather also South Indian. So I'm third generation Singapore. So I have every right to ask questions about how my life is right now, though I was ignorant back then. So same, I grew up in Jurong. Jurong boy, I always pride myself in thinking that. And then moved on to Teck Whye and St. George, all the gangster places. It wasn't not my choosing, but my mom had a knack to get attracted to this kind of place. So yeah, the humble growing up lah. I'm not a scholar or an academic. I was just playful. I used to play football and played for Tampines Rovers when I was young in the youth. I was playing for Combined School Singapore Under 20 youth as well. Yeah, it's normal, man. Nothing spectacular.
So can we say that you have always been into fitness?
Always.
Always.
My whole family has been in fitness, so I'm so used to it.
And do you always have a knack for public speaking? Like, were you always a good?
No, I was shy in when I was young. I'm still shy now. I'm very introverted.
Okay.
You'll be surprised.
For real?
Yeah. So I'm very quiet on my own. I don't have lots of friends. I have good friends, but I'm quite introverted. I speak when it's time to speak, but at other times I'm just sitting down quietly and minding my own business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before you were speaking about politics and all,
Yeah.
you were into the fitness line.
I am still in fitness.
Oh, you're still in fitness?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do a bit of freelance.
Can you please elaborate for us and of course the viewers on?
Okay, on my career,
yeah.
So fitness, I was always in sports, and after I came out from the army, my friend was saying, hey, since you like fitness, why don't you become a trainer? I never thought of it, So I became a trainer once I got out of the army. And so always been a fitness trainer. And then the company I worked for taught me how to build fitness centers and run it and operate fitness centers. I've actually built some fitness centers in Singapore. They call it fitness clubs now to look, sound more
That's a cheap word,
cool a
ah.
bit.
Cheap
Yes.
word,
So I have done that, and so all my life, man, I was in fitness. I took a break. I was headhunted by the hotel that I was working for actually to get into training because I have a different way of training people, and they found it interesting. So I got into that, and I was headhunted by a UK-based company, sports company, to do to work as an international negotiator for international sports events. So I've traveled all over the world. I had the privilege of working in America, South America, Middle East, and all that. And then I went through a bad divorce. I don't hide things about my life. I didn't see my son, so I went through a bit of depression for a while. So I came back to fitness again, and so I teach sports to school kids now. So that's my contribution to society and fitness at the same time. Yeah.
Nice. That's a very nice story.
That's
Yeah.
a very nice
Yeah,
story.
it's really good that you're doing fitness, like especially teaching the kids and all
Yeah.
that. I feel that is very important for the youth nowadays.
Yeah, but it might be in a bit of a jeopardy when my licensing comes up for renewal in 2025 by Ministry of Education, of course.
Okay.
By Mr. Chan Chun Sen, of course. So yeah, don't hold it against me, man. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, so let me refer to some notes
Yeah,
regarding.
do that, yeah. And I would as well, I'll be careful with the way.
Okay, as we are starting light, right?
Yeah.
In this fitness topic, what is your take on steroid use?
Oh, I think I had a conversation about this with my cousin just now. I'm in my 50s, okay? Steroids are bad. Let's face it, okay? It's a drug, it's bad. But it also has its purposes because you must understand how was steroids created in the first place. There were some steroids were created because, for example, human growth hormone. It was actually brought in to develop kids who had growth problems.
Messi.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi, one of
Yeah.
them.
So the purpose was good, but then people started abusing it. Same. I mean, if you say chocolate is nice, but if you overdose it with chocolate, you're gonna get sugar problem, right?
Yeah, right.
Similarly, so right now they have testosterone treatment for older men, people like me and so on.
TRT.
TRT.
Yes. Okay. So it is very much embraced in a lot of countries, but a lot of people don't talk about it because they don't want to encourage it. So it has its good purposes, but when you abuse it, of course, anything if you abuse, you're gonna get into trouble,
Like
man.
for me, my issue is that a lot of like the fitness guys.
Yeah.
I'm not saying just in Singapore, but
Yeah,
overseas
everywhere,
as well.
internationally, yeah.
They claim they're natural, but you give one look, you see,
Oh no! The best answer is, I eat well. So I say, where do you buy your rice from? Tell me the shop name. I want to look as big as you because naturally you won't look like that, man.
Yeah, correct,
don't.
correct.
Because all you have to do is look at their parents. Unless a mother and father look like bodybuilders, then if your kid is looking that size, that's fine, man. But other than that, no. Often because. I don't know about you, but I have myself or even my friends, when we look at somebody, we would know if he's juicing or not.
What are the certain things that you'll be able to tell if you know someone is on the what are the
Simple ones,
signs,
simple ones.
I heard one of them was like looking at their shoulders.
Yeah, these are common area because you know why? You have a lot of blood vessels that run through your neck area and all that, and your heart is here, and also a lot of it is spurred up. These are the areas that's very rich, in the blood flow and so on. So you get big shoulders, of course, acne, very common, facial hair for women, change of voices for women and men. So, and then also body type. If you look at somebody, your muscles, I'm wearing a jacket, it's very soft. Naturally, the body is made for you to be soft because of water and all that fluid. 70% is fluid, right? It's supposed to be soft. But a lot of these people, I'm not going to say guys now because women are also in steroids, right? They have a very hard look. And, to a point that, I can tell what drug they are on because that's going to give you that hard look. Because I'm in this line for so long, I've seen so much of this, right? So these are the general look. If they're going to look big, they're going to have a tummy. This is the general note. Yeah. If they are going to be lean, they are going to be very lean. They're not going to be muscular and lean at the same time unless you got trampoline in you. You know? So that's what I'm saying. So these are the things that you can tell. I've seen steroids abused as well. They behave in an absurd manner because it causes a change in your temper. Those are these high extreme. I was working in a club once, you know, a freelance trainer. This guy opened the shelf drawer. I was just doing some work, took something out, and then he popped something and closed it out. I said, I hope that was Tic Tac. You know, but it's not. They're popping in pills like there's no tomorrow, man. Yeah, so.
You mentioned that you have been, you know, you have traveled around the world
Yeah.
for your job. What are some of the places you stayed the most, or like?
Have you met any like superstar
Yeah, like how is the fitness
bodybuilders?
industry in Singapore compared to other
In
places?
fitness line?
Like the
Oh,
fitness.
they are
line?
very developed. Singapore is as well. It's just that professionally, the people there can make a lot more money because their industry is big. As in any industry, man. Like even for social media. If you guys were in Indonesia, let's not go too far. You're gonna have several million followers by now already. And so that same thing when it comes to fitness. If you are doing well in US and all, you are a big money earner. So that propels you and pays for your lifestyle. But if you're not, you're gonna be like Singapore part-time. One of my good friends is he wins Mr. Physique all the time. Good friend of mine, great guy. But the amount of money he has to spend, and then he's got to take care of his family, so he still have to work as a trainer. You know, so
see.
Okay.
so that's the difference in the industry, in any industry, and it's not special to fitness actually.
Yeah, correct. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Sean, you're also a fitness trainer. What like? Do you agree on everything he said? Like, what's
Yeah,
your opinion on it?
from what Jay just explained, yeah, it's true lah. Because Singapore is not a very big industry compared to other countries like US. They do have a lot of people, especially their idols are there already, so they do have the motivation there. But
So
in
Sean, what are you gonna do to become a social whore? You know, so you can put yourself more out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the US and start stripping already.
see, that was the key point. Then his last word that he mentioned, stripping. So that is a very key integral part of selling yourself. You know, if you're an actor, you show your actions, right? If you're a trainer, you're gonna show yourself how you have sculpted your own body, and then you sell. So because my followers in fitness is not as big as in when I do current affairs.
Okay.
Because I'm not willing to strip, right? So I'm not going to show. So I'm just going to concentrate on senior fitness now. You know,
Okay.
just a feel-good lifestyle factor.
But
that
back in the day, like
Yeah.
before social media stuff, how did you promote yourself? How do you get?
Oh,
known?
it was tough because back then we didn't have social media. So, but one thing I was lucky. I don't know, you know, God kind of shows shines a spotlight on me. I was lucky enough. So I was picked up in 2-3 areas where I was featured in magazines and newspapers.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so back then in the 80s and all that, it's quite a big thing. So you know, so my friends say, "Hey, you so ugly. How can they put you on fitness?" I say, "But you look at my physique, like you look at my face for what? You know."
Yeah.
So I was lucky with that. So back then it's just personal training was not big. You're lucky to have a personal trainer because you work for the club like a hotel gym, and so you are paid a certain amount of money, and then whoever the clients are, you train for free.
Okay.
Personal training became big when California Fitness first came in. They stepped in, they introduced the idea. There was very small scale personal training, the bodybuilders were making money out of it, but it went on big scale, the awareness of personal training, the importance of it.
Was there like a gold gym here in Singapore?
There was a gold gym there here as well.
Now also they have.
No, but I'm talking
Oh,
like
in
at
those
the
times.
But
scale
all
of
those-
of,
I mean,
you
like I
know.
said, no disrespect, but you know me, I speak the truth, man. If you know,
That's all you want.
I'm sorry if I offend some bodybuilders. See, when we had the Gold's Gym back then, even a person like me were intimidated to walk in because there were all these abang bodybuilder, you know, and so we were afraid to bring in our girlfriends. Then they would oogling at their physique, right? We were young. I was a young kid as well. And so the identity was more on bodybuilding. Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's the scene.
That's
to
the
go.
standard, that's
Yes. And so not everybody could do that. Maybe steroids were not so available. So nobody people couldn't achieve that because people were ignorant. And because when you ask the bodybuilder, Abang, what do you makan? You know, whoever it is, whether it's a Chinese bodybuilder or Indian bodybuilder or Malay bodybuilder, you must makan kuat. You must eat this good. You must eat more. You must eat a lot. You must eat like a horse. At the end of the day, you're going to look like a fat person. Right? No disrespect to fat people. But because you're going to have a big belly and then you're wondering, what did I do wrong? I've been improving my bench press. So that was... Then when California came in, fitness became more of an athletic model. It's okay to look like a normal person, but fitness became the Kobe Bryant, the Michael Jordan. That is what we wanted, you know. So fitness took a change then.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So,
but what do you see about fitness now, currently? What's your...
Do you think people are pussies now? Like they don't, you know, like I'm sorry, I'm direct as you.
But we just use different words. Explain that part.
Like they're not as hard as before. Like back then, they will really, you know, they will lift the iron weights, whatever it is.
Okay,
they will lift heavy. You know, now they're on a more focus on like lifting slowly.
I think now
lifting
is
light.
more for vanity purpose. You know, to look good in a nice shirt or walking down the beach. Back then, it was just to look massive. I want to look big. I want to show that I'm a man by carrying the heaviest weight possible. If I can carry a lorry in the street, I will. That was the mentality back then. So it's more for vanity reasons right now. Would I call them cats? No, I wouldn't use the same word as you. Or kittens, you know. But to each his own, whatever makes you happy. But what I find that is very shocking and concerning, that should be for a lot of people, when young kids are taking steroids without being told what they are taking, what the side effects are. And I spoke about this on my many videos before. And I had a 16-year-old boy came in and you know, to join up, and he looked a bit tough. You know, I said, "Hey, you got good genetics, huh?" He wasn't so huge, but he had a good physique. He said, "I want to ask you. I saw your video. I want to ask you, brother, steroid. What you think?" So I said, "Are you in steroids?" Yeah. I said, "Bro, stop. How old are you? 16. So where do you get it from?" I got a friend in the coffee shop. So what did he sell you? I don't know. How much did you pay? $150. So is it oral or is it injectable? He said injectable, but I said I want to take tablet so it's pain. So this is one myth already. So they think taking oral is better, but your kidney and your liver goes overdose on the so injection is better. Of course, I'm not recommending this. Don't get me wrong, but then he's taking something that he doesn't know what he's taking, and that person is jabbing it for the 16-year-old boy. So you see the abuse in this.
I have maybe a suggestion. Do you think it'll be practical if we decriminalize steroids? Would it help?
Do you think that you should decriminalize weed, man?
In Singapore?
I mean, what was your question for? Is it a global issue, or are you talking about Singapore issue?
I'm talking about Singapore itself.
So what do I think? If steroids became legal?
Like it's the same thing in the US. Once they decriminalize weed in certain states, it became more available and
people gain more knowledge.
Rather than people dealing it, you know, on the back door.
So what do you think is going to happen if they were to decriminalize it?
They can
and
put
it's
a legal
available.
age.
They put it. So you think kids below the age? What's the legal age for smoking now? 18?
21.
So have you seen kids who are young as 12, 13?
Because
smoking?
if you decriminalize it, you will have, by having more access, there will be more information about it. That was my point, you know.
I'm a parent, bro, so I'm going to be a bit different on you.
Okay.
I'm going to be conservative. The thing is, if you legalize something, it becomes more accessible. And then the problem is ignorance still prevails when it comes to steroids, because steroids is a drug that once you start taking, that's very difficult for you to turn back, because that feel-good factor of how you feel in that tight T-shirt and that tight feeling that you have in that physique, the moment you stop steroids, your body becomes soft. People don't like it. Psychologically, it affects. I've seen this before. You know, I've got trainers who've been doing it. I've got bodybuilder friends. And the same thing will work with that kid. Imagine a 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid start jabbing steroids. By the time he hits my age, he will not be around. health-wise.
Makes
Because
sense,
they don't know how much to take. Nobody is there to tell them. The guy who's selling you the steroid will not say, you only take this. No, you say, you need to go hard. You know why? You will finish fast, you get another order back again. And he's also going to ask you to combine. What these guys will do also, like I said, they will just give you whatever stock they cannot sell. It's a fact. People might have ordered and it's not so popular, and then nobody wants to buy that. This person comes along, you say, I have this, go and take this. What is it for? Makes you big. Don't know what it does. It's a fact, bro. So, decriminalizing it is a fantastic idea, but like it's same like, why don't you want to make drugs legal? Because it's more accessible. It will become like normal already. You know, at least by putting a brake on it, I don't know whether it would work or not, but at least putting a brake on it, it kind of puts people off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's move on the fitness topic.
Okay.
People call you the voice of the voiceless for Singaporeans.
You think so?
I've heard so.
I spoke for myself. I didn't speak for anybody. That
But
was
how
my
do you
start.
feel?
But
When-
how does it
yeah.
make you feel?
Like people say, hey Jay, thanks for bringing
Thanks
this issue up. You
thanks
know,
for
something
bringing
like
up issues that I don't generally speak about, or I'm afraid to speak about. How does that make you feel?
You basically have a fan base.
Yeah,
of
you have a
people-
fan base. We are fans.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm your fans as well. No, really. I'm impressed by,
We love the way you voice out, the way you do things.
you see, people have this thought that I'm doing it for the sake of something which was never my intention in the first place. There was a trigger that happened. Sitting down in a car park at 1 a.m. in the morning after work, I saw something that triggered me and then gave rise to a 30-second, 40-second video.
could you say what was the experience?
Yeah, a simple question. It was just stated in Parliament. Somebody had posted up a video on the TikTok actually, and opposition member asked, what is the cost of building an HDB flat in Singapore?
Okay.
Miss Indrani Raja walked up, placed the file on the rostrum, and she said, it's not important for you to know. Wow. Until then, I used to like politics. My grandfather was, union leader for the Indian, Indians who came to Singapore, union leader. We had a bit of politics in us, but that woke me up, man. I was thinking, I've seen parliament all over the world. I've seen the US parliament, BBC and all that. But when I saw that, I said, what? You mean a person in parliament can say that and get away with it and nobody is going to
Ask questions.
Ask questions? So I put out a 30-second video and then I realized people were interested. Then I started looking at other videos, but I did it for myself because I've gone through challenges before. 10 years ago, I used to work for PAP, man.
Okay.
You used to work in PAP.
Yeah, work for PAP.
Like
No,
what
never
were
think,
you,
never
like-
think of opposition. Election. My whole family, me, my mother, father, everybody work for PAP, walk off, go back. Never even think about it. Never even watch the election results because we know PAP will win. And we were happy with it.
You wanted to be at the winner's corner, not on the loser side, right? That was your...
No. We were just contented with our lives. Because you must understand. Okay, now I'm gonna delve into an area that you didn't even ask. There is a big difference between the first generation, second generation leaders till for now, if you were to make a comparison. Back then, my father could buy a 5-room HDB flat as a normal shipyard worker and give us education, pay for our education, have a comfortable life, and bought jewelries for himself and for his wife, which is my mother, had a happy life, and still could go for holidays. Back then, things were different. And then things took a change. We didn't know why. Suddenly, everything was expensive. HDB costs went up. So why did this woman answer and say, you don't have to know? So now I'm asking myself, what is it that she doesn't want us to find out? This is what was my trigger mechanism.
So can you say that first video you posted about you don't need to know,
Yeah.
basically that was the first video that got you traction, right?
For fitness-wise, I've had a bit of traction, but not this went crazy a bit.
Okay.
So for me, when you say how do I feel about what people say, for me it was a shock, and I felt very embarrassed when people said that to me. To a point, I used to go to shops, right? I didn't want to come out from the car. I told my wife, you go get the things, I'll just sit in the car. Because for me, it was paise for me to accept a thanks from people who were coming up and saying thanks to me. So I thought weird, man, and I feel that, hey, this shouldn't be for me.
Like there was a pressure. Would
It's
you
not
say
a
that?
pressure. It's just that a shock for me. Because I
Okay.
never
Like not used to it.
You
lah.
know, you never expect any compliment.
I mean, Telok Blangah, because I was a fitness guy there, and in Queensway I was in fitness. I used to walk around, people say, hey, I saw a video, bro, and then they come and ask me questions and all that. So I was used to that. But this was different kind of, I felt it was an appreciation that, God gave me the blessing for that. But I felt that I didn't deserve it. And I was paiseh to talk to people. So when people were coming towards me, right, I'll try to just elak and try to like look down or,
So many people were coming up to you and
Yeah.
expressing their gratitude after your
So
first
after
video.
some time, I realized they connected with what I said. And so then I said, thanks, but I just wanted to say what I was going through, which I was, So me from being a PAP supporter changed when I went through challenges in life. Went through divorce, couldn't get a HDB flat, and lost my flat, my parents' flat, which I had bought over, lost my flat because they said, being you and your mom, you're not supposed to have this flat, you need to sell it. Because I wanted to buy over after the divorce, right? They didn't allow me to buy. And then when the MP came around to Yaakob Ibrahim, I think, he came in and he said, hi, how are you? It was election time. I was living in St. George. And then he came and said, hi, everything okay? They got a shock. I said, everything is not okay. He straight away made a U-turn and left and then got his guy to come and speak to me. So I explained the situation. I only have a few more amount of money to pay. I want to buy over this house. HDB say I'm not qualified to have this house because this house is too big for me and my mom. It's our house. So, why don't you come and see the MP? I went to see him. Nothing happened. I had to sell the flat. And then after that, they say you only qualify for a studio apartment. So for almost 10 years, I couldn't get a flat. They say, I want to give you a studio apartment. Then you must understand, how can an old, respected lady stay in the same room as me, a grown-up son? How do we live? And then, what was the one that I felt I was kicked in the face? An Indonesian Chinese came to buy my house and they bought the house. You know how it felt? Me, a true blue Singaporean, my grandfather had fought for the rights of workers. My father was working in the shipyard all his life. And we have voted for this party, and they thank me by kicking me in my face and say, you don't need to be staying in this house because you don't deserve it. Who makes the decision? Them, sitting behind a air-conditioned office, making decision for me. So these are the things that woke me up. But I didn't know how to express it because I wasn't following politics. So this was the trigger mechanism.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, just to get a bit of context. So basically, when you divorce, you had to let go of the current
The
flat,
flat
you had
that I own.
Because as a you're only allowed to keep the flat if you're married. That's the
Yeah.
that's it?
So we actually took over my parents' flat.
Okay.
So she wanted
I'm
to
just
sell
giving
it.
some context for the
Yeah,
viewers.
yeah,
so like-
my life is an
because,
open book,
yeah,
man.
because it helps to in
yeah,
case any of our
but
viewers.
things have changed right now. This was
Okay.
back then. Things have changed
Also,
right
it
now.
could have.
Yeah,
it
so
could be
back
different.
then, because the policies were still very,
very new.
kind of very
not-
caveman kind of
Okay.
stuff they had up. Because nobody questioned them. They put up whatever they felt that.
So how long ago?
So
How long ago was
this was so I had to sell the flat 2011. I only had about 100,000 to pay up, and we've been living there for a long time.
Okay.
And which I could pay up. I had the money. I had the CPF. They didn't allow me to pay up, man. 2011. So and then so to fast forward just to the conclusion part, if you are interested. So when I applied for a flat when I was getting married again in 2020. They still said I could only afford a 2-room, 1 hall. So I wanted a 4-room. And so I said, no, I want a 4-room. They said you only qualify for a 2-room, 1 hall because your wife does not qualify as a family member because my wife is Indonesian. Everybody knows this. So I said, but she's my wife. She said, no, she don't qualify. So me being me, I do not give up easily. I wrote a very kind email to them. I say, you bring in so many foreigners who are new to this land, and you throw everything at them, and then you have a third generation Singaporean. I've married an Indonesian because we fell in love, and then we're taking care of my mom as well. And you telling me you will not give me a 4-room flat because of my age and the fact that I will not be able to get that flat because it's written in your policy. Then I gave a bit of idea about the background of how my forefathers worked for this country. My father and my grandfather, how they had contributed, how that my brother was an army officer. My sister is a classical dance teacher. I said, whatever we have done, we have contributed back to society, whatever job we were doing. So you are denying me of this right. Let's see how far we can go with this. They came back with still a maybe. So I know I'm going to send another email back and forth. Finally approved it, just like that. Okay. So now I have a 4-room flat.
I'm getting some sort of goosebumps. I can feel the energy right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, it's you see, it's natural, right?
It's natural. It's
It's not like we're
brings-
making it up, right?
No,
yeah. So this is the same thing when I go through when people ask me why do you do the videos. I say I did it for myself, but I didn't know I connected with so many people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, from hearing this, right,
yeah.
I feel a bit angry at what has happened. Or I understand that.
Now let me tell you, there's the danger behind
Yeah.
a good orator, I would say.
Yeah.
I think yeah. So
Will you
when
consider
you
yourself
open
a good
when you
orator?
open the barn doors, the horses are going to run out.
Correct.
Okay.
You as a very rational person, you know that's going to happen. The rational or your leadership quality is to hold that horse back.
Is that the reason why people are so attracted to politics? Is they wanna hear someone?
No, people are
addressing-
attracted to solutions to their problems. It could have been politics, or we could have been living in a country where poverty. It could have been poverty. So whatever whatever can connect people, you get connected. That's it.
Okay.
And if you have a leader who talks about your problem and can connect with you, you're gonna turn around and say, hey,
No, because to
I'll
be
follow
very
you.
honest, even if I was a deaf person, I could understand what you're saying. But if I was just the way you are talking and looking at you, I will also get I will still get hyped. So like, okay,
I think
this-
it's
The fire is in you. The fire.
I think it's yeah, because when you speak from your heart, a lot of people okay. This one I will agree. I speak from my heart. I don't say things to impress people. I never did. If I did, I would not be in trouble, right? You know, I wouldn't have a 2-year probation for your question just now. Criminal
okay.
defamation hit me with that question when I haven't had my coffee yet. So yeah. So
we'll get there, guys. Don't worry, patience. We're getting there.
yeah. So you want me to answer that question
No,
now?
not yet, not
Okay,
yet.
not
Yeah,
yet.
let's
So
take it-
I
let's
would.
take it live.
Yeah. So yeah. So I speak from my heart, man. And if it connects with you, then it connects with you.
Okay. So, tell us about your POFMA.
Okay.
It's straightforward.
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 Tell us about your POFMA.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's inevitable. You
About
know.
your POFMAs.
Oh, I have 3 POFMAs. I'm not the king, of course.
What is actually POFMA?
Okay.
Just for the
POFMA,
information.
actually, the translation for POFMA is shut up, don't ask any question, do as I say. That's the direct translation.
I think we should get what is the actual what does it actually stand for?
That's bullshit. But you can. I'm not going to say it out. You can Google it and bring it up. I'm going to stick to what I said. Shut up, don't ask question, do as I say. That's what POFMA means.
Okay, let's walk with like because it's gonna take me some time to look
he's
it up.
Googling it.
Yeah, I'm
man.
Googling it.
I live it and he's Googling it.
He's here. Okay,
Protection
POFMA
of
from
Online
Falsehoods and Manipulation Act.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, spicy
so,
episode.
So how have I
Sean,
manipulated?
don't get scared. Why you trembling, Sean? You're like trembling already, bro. Relax.
This is not something easy.
No. I tell you the I was expecting it, because if people were saying if you didn't get it, we would have thought you are a PAP guy planted into.
Okay.
And then later
So you
switch.
are planted
like the
opposition,
devil that comes in.
Yeah.
Oh, God is good. But then why did God do this to you? That means must be on the other side. The alternative voice comes in, right?
yeah.
He doesn't call himself the devil, but I'm not saying I'm the devil. But so people are saying, because I was going so hard, And I'll be honest with you, I was going hard. The video started very easy. But then, like you said, when I think back at the things that were happening to me and people were messaging me and the stories that you hear is really heart-wrenching, bro. I can't share the stories, but it's really heartbreaking to read about, people who have served the country, who have done so much for the country. At a certain age, they are being ignored. Children being not able to go to school. I go sit down in the school. I teach school, right? And there was a point where I saw this boy 2 days straight in a row was sitting in a classroom during recess time. I asked him, never go for recess? No, Mr. J, I have to do some work. So I was okay. And then next day I found that he was just sitting down. So something triggered. I always bring like bread and all that. So I gave him a bread. I say, you want? Okay. So I saw him eating it. I realized this boy is hungry. So then I went to ask the teacher. He said, oh, he's from a low-income family. We have offered help, but maybe it's not enough. Maybe the father feels that he shouldn't take it. There was a hungry kid in a country where you deem your GDP is one of the best in the world, best government, Swiss standard of living that was proposed, and you have a kid in the class who's hungry because he has no money to eat. And then you say you have world-class education system and welfare for the people. I think about this, I do the next video, you think I'm going to be kind? I'm not. Whatever comes up, because it's the rage I have of what I see, the problem that I see. It could have been my son, It could have been your kids, It could have been you. So do I want another? That means if there's one kid in this school, how many schools are there? How many kids are coming to school with no money? And how many kids are staying at home and got to go help or take care of their younger siblings because they don't have money?
Just to play the devil's advocate.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just about to say that.
A lot of people will say that, there are many kids around the world going hungry as well. And we being in Singapore, we are... I mean, that's just...
No. You're right. You're absolutely right. I have traveled.
Like if we look at every single kid that is hungry around the world, all of us will be sad all the time because
You see, first time I went to New Delhi, all right, I was, because I went to the Himalayas, and then when I came down, I was eating vegetarian for 8 days. I wanted to eat biryani, man.
Okay.
I went to a biryani restaurant in New Delhi. It's supposed to be a good one. I sat down with my driver. We started eating. Guess what? It was a window. It was a window seat. A small little child came and stand next to me, watching me eat the biryani.
Oh, wow.
If you grow up in that environment, you're fine.
Tough.
If you grow up every single day coming out of your house to see a person who's begging for food, you become immune to it.
Yeah.
Right? Agreed or not? It's a
Yeah, it's
fact.
agreed, yeah.
But if you live in a society like Singapore that prides itself that it provides for everybody, the anger was not the fact that the child is a child who's poor. No, the anger was you pride yourself to say that you are the provider, and then yet you have this person who fell through the system, through the crack. And then you sit in your penthouses and your black and whites, I always say that, and you say, we are a perfect society. And then you have this problem. It's like, again, a kick in the face.
See,
I
I told you already. They sure have some issues in school, even if they have this financial assistance scheme,
because some parents won't accept it, bro. And then they have
Is it the parents' fault?
Yeah,
should they accept the FAS?
the fact that financial assistance scheme, you can call it whatever you want, but you need to walk that man's shoe to answer that question.
Okay,
I cannot say
Understand.
I'm wiser because I'm not in that person's situation. I don't know where he comes from or why he told his child not to take it. This is between him and that child. I don't want to undermine him
Like
or
I mean,
disrespect him.
there could be many factors. One could
Or
be
even the child going out and giving a coupon. Maybe he's being teased by somebody,
Yes,
some
Yeah,
other
correct.
kids.
it could be a social issue. It could also be a sort of a reputation issue, like
some
Yeah,
prison
so
issue or
like I said,
or it could be a
unless
issue
I had a
where-
conversation with that parent,
Then you will
then
know.
I have a better
Yeah.
idea. But without having that conversation, but then there are people who are in the system who knew this was happening, could have done a better way of
and
accomplishing
they didn't
this.
do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
They could have easily given the child a bit of cash get the child to go in
Like
and buy
I mean,
the
if
food?
we are in the since we were on New Delhi and everything,
Yeah.
like like if we talk about the like I know I'm going very off topic, but
Yeah,
if,
yeah, yeah.
if I don't know if you guys know that there's a the richest house, the most valued house is actually located in Mumbai, if I'm not wrong, by the Ambani family.
Okay.
Yeah, they have the biggest, the largest,
2
most
billion,
richest
right?
house.
I
It's
believe
like
I
a
believe
billion.
it. I believe it. Yeah.
And the controversy is that next to the house is a slum.
It's normal, bro. If you go there, it's normal. This is normal.
No, like
When you
like,
travel to, you'll be shocked, you know.
like for me personally, like how will I be able to live with myself knowing that I am, I'm living in a house that's worth billions of dollars and there's just a slum
But
next
just
to me.
beside you,
Just beside me there's a slum.
everybody's poor, no
It's
food.
like I'm showing off to the poor. I'm supposed to show off with the rich, not to the poor. Like I mean there's that social
It's-
moral
it's-
dilemma I would have.
It's the environment you grew up in that sets you or makes you feel that way. Like I said earlier, if you grow up in that environment, you're so used to it because the people in your same vicinity or your same level will say, we cannot help everybody. Like what your question was, we can't help everybody. We can't solve the world's problem, because you grew up in that environment. You can say that it's your state of mind. If you have empathy and compassion for the people that you look around, it's tough, man. If you are a person who empathetic towards people's need, you walk around,
Do,
see
do you think empathy can be is more of a curse or a blessing?
I'm a religious person lah. I can, to a certain extent. So if empathy puts me in a
Over
position,
empathetic. Maybe I should have said that.
I mean, if you're gonna walk around and cry at everything you say, the kitten is lost, that is a bit, I don't know, it's a
No,
bit.
because Sean is like that. He sees a baby kitten. Oh, I need to feed the kitten.
Hey, but
Feed 50
then that
kittens
is,
over here.
that is a show of kindness that will add to your plus points with God. So when you're standing on your judgment day,
I take it back. I take it
Sean,
back. It's nothing like this.
you were rude, but I fed the kitten. Oh yeah.
I
forgot.
have fed 50 kittens.
Yeah.
How about you?
So good deeds, man.
Yeah.
I
The
have
more
fed,
compassionate you are, the more
I
empathetic
can't
you are.
count the amount of kittens I have had. I can't count. I lost count.
I see a double meaning in that, man. Yeah, so it depends on how you are brought up.
So as a society, do you think Singaporeans are, do they have? Are we an empathetic society?
I think Singapore.
I will give you my opinion. I think we are.
You want to be you okay?
I
I
think
want
we-
you give me your opinion about
I
this.
think we are slowly losing that side of ourselves. Like I really think so. I think that as
Is it a
years pass-
generation issue?
could be. I know. I mean, my generation is empathetic, but when I see my
The younger
the
ones?
younger generation,
Why?
it's like okay, let's say I pass the aunties and uncles selling tissue. Maybe I pass 10 times, I will buy it one time, but I see like some of the faces I walk, like the very young generation, like they look disgusted when they see a person that is trying to hustle and make, and meet.
I agree with
You know,
that. I agree with that. But also, after I found out how much the tissue auntie make, I feel angry.
Hey, how
it
much
came
does
out.
she make?
It came out in an article. They interviewed this tissue auntie selling tissue at Orchard.
That's right, man.
She earning $6,000 1 month.
No, they make a
Yeah.
make a healthy
$6,000.
profit, yeah.
That's the day I stopped giving money to all these people. Really? Because they're earning double than me.
And people working 2-3 jobs outside.
So
And
of
not even
course,
earning as
So
much
the moral
as
of the story is, you want to make 6,000, go sell tissues.
yeah. So
But make
Okay,
sure you
okay.
buy cheap.
I think this is I think there's a skill issue, lah, bro.
okay, fair enough.
I will
It's a
give you-
hustle. It's
I
a
will- it's a
hustle.
hustle.
Yeah.
lah.
I will give you 2 boxes of tissue. You try sell. Nobody will buy it from you. Then you know.
Easy, bro. I can sell a pen, bro, to everyone. I'm 100% sure.
Okay,
I can
wait.
sell you a pen.
Coming back to the original question.
Yeah.
Tell us about your POFMA.
Okay, so POFMA
Wait,
was,
wait,
so the first time I heard it, I was working at my 3rd job. I was doing 3 jobs. Somebody called me and said, hey bro, you're being featured on the news. I said, what are you talking about? Oh, you got POFMA. So I was a bit shocked lah, and it's quite, it never been, kena this kind of stuff, politics was new to me, and then when I heard this was, but I always have a nature to like calm down and recollect myself, especially when I'm getting into very uncomfortable area. So I say, okay, let me just go home and find out because I'm busy working. So by the time I go home, a lot of things hit me. But I have good friends, POFMA friends, I call them.
Okay.
And, so I was a baby, broke my cherry. So I had a few guys call me and say, hey, what do I do next? Say, calm down, put up the correction notice first. So I didn't know how to put out correction notice. So I kept emailing them back and forth, but they were very patient. So 12, 1 a.m. and all, because you have to post it up within 6 to 8 hours or something. Very short time, They don't give you a whole day. So I put it up first. So I even forgot what was the POFMA. One was the serial number, one was land cost, and one was I forgot two more.
Are you allowed to go in detail of
I forgot bro. So and it came in fast. It was like tidal wave. So in August, within August I had 2, and then September I had 1. So the last one they tamba 2 together with like prata plaster or something. So 2 videos together make it easy for me 1 correction notice. But I got to be very careful because the POFMA office is still, out yet. The jury have not come back with a decision yet. I've not been told what they're going to do with my POFMA. It's supposed to expire in April this year,
okay,
which is going to. So let's see what they do. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to sound too, ambitious or anything. So they call me back, maybe another episode. Once that's over, I can speak about this.
Okay.
And then another one that kind of also was hard was when I was sued by the public. AG chambers came up, but the complaint was through the public. Even the POFMAs, according to the POFMA office, the minister signed on it, but they say people were complaining. So with the defamation was, there was a member of public complaint, made a police report, and so the AG chambers have to take action because it was a criminal defamation against the Prime Minister and Attorney General. And so I went in for an interview with CID. They took my passport away, which I thought
to
was...
that extent?
Yeah. So they took my passport
But
away.
they didn't formally charge you with.
I was not under charge. I was under investigation. So that's why I went to ask, wow, I must be spectacular because for you to deprive me of a freedom for just asking a question and not being charged yet. Usually when you're charged, then they will take away your passport so you are not a flight risk and all.
On degree of
So
the charge.
so this was, I say, you take your passport. I say, how come I'm not being charged? He said, no. So where am I going to run? You check my bank balance, I got $500. I'm not going to run anywhere. This is Singapore, my country. I will stay here and still ask you questions. So I'm not going to run. So no need for you to take. No, it's our procedure. So they took, for 83 days, they kept my passport. And then they called me back and then they said they are not, they are, giving me a probation warning for 2 years, 24 months. They gave me back my passport. I didn't sign and anything. But so the terms of that was for 2 years, if I get myself hooked into any criminal arrest, they will pull back the defamation and they might charge me for the defamation
So
together. They might tamba it together.
That was for one POFMA or all the POFMAs?
No, it's not POFMA. The 3 POFMA is separate.
Oh, this is a
criminal
separate-
defamation is separate.
Oh,
So
okay.
the criminal defamation part, I'm in the lead a bit lah. Kenneth J. Ratnam is being referred to the AG chambers. So there were people who were POFMA, not POFMA. Nobody has been charged for POFMA head in Singapore. Nobody has been charged. People have been under investigation, KIV, but nobody is charged yet. So only right now, Kenneth thinks he's 7 POFMA, if I'm not wrong.
He's the king of POFMA?
Oh man.
Kenneth, who is Kenneth?
Kenneth J. Ratnam. JB J. Ratnam's son.
Oh,
He's a
wow.
gold medalist economics student. He and Tharman was classmates. He beat Tharman on economics. You
Okay.
can check these facts. So, Tharman is brilliant, but Kenneth is just
Gold.
as smart. Lah. So they were classmates and all that. So Brilliant guy. And so he writes about things. I mean, if you compare me to him, I am nothing, man. You know, and this guy is clever. So he's got 7, and he's been referred to the Attorney General Chambers. So we don't know what's going to happen because he's living in England. So that's one part that is great. No disrespect, Kenneth. You know.
But it's easier to say it when you are out there rather than
Well,
in
he
here.
travels here often, and he's a guy he's a righteous guy. I've spoken to him before, casually. And then he's one of the guys who picked up the phone and called me and said, "Are you okay?" Because everybody knows I'm not a politician. Everybody knows I'm not affiliated to any political parties. I'm not an academic or a scholar, just a guy on the street who's talking about problems. So a lot of people paid, they were, just pity me lah. Like you feed the kitten, right?
Will they say pity or will they say they respect that?
Like concern.
I will take it. I'll take a pity from them lah.
No.
They are great people, right?
No, because if pity it means they're looking down, but if they're concerned means they respect you.
I
Because
don't care, man. For me, I know where I stand as a human being. Whether you respect me or not, doesn't matter. As long as you're willing to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, you okay?" So I respect that. So when I spoke to him, I realized he's a very righteous guy. He's not faking it, no. When he's asking questions, he's a very righteous guy. He's built that way. He's wired that way. So I could understand him. So coming back to this, so criminal defamation. You know the funny thing about criminal defamation, you don't have to go to court if they charge you in court.
then how do they prove that you are guilty or not guilty?
No, they look at the charges. The person who felt that he's been criminally defamed puts out a statement, maybe through a lawyer, and then the judge looks at it, and if he sees that, that's correct, they charge you.
But you got a warning for it, right?
I got a warning. I'm saying there are people who have been in prison as well.
So there's no way for you to argue your
You can't
case?
defend yourself in that sense. Maybe, I don't know, maybe now you can have a lawyer, but this is what I've been hearing. So that's scary, man.
Yeah, it is.
If I was
Because
so,
defamation is so hard, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I've looked at I've not just looked at defamation
Singapore
cases in
context,
Singapore, but outside it's hard to prove
Hard,
defamation
man.
because you gotta have there's the intention of you causing some sort of harm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so how will you determine that this person had the intention to cause harm
And
to
mine
your
was a
reputation?
question, but the police said I had impugned the Prime Minister of, selecting somebody who was his lawyer to be his to be the Attorney General. But I would say Lucien Wong, who's the Attorney General, is a qualified person. I still said it in that video, but they took it as, you shouldn't have said that. And you guys can go look it up. And there's another word that I used which they felt that I shouldn't have used it. And so that's what they were pissed off about. And so, I mean, of course, they want to protect themselves. So that's what was clamped down. And then the police force charged me. It was not the government that charged me. So I got to technically be correct. Police force is the one, not charged me, investigated me. So, and then they came up, and then the Attorney General came back and said, okay, I made an apology. Before the moment I got a lawyer, I apologized. I put out a video, and then a lot of people called me a spineless person for apologizing.
That's the thing about the internet. A lot of people don't really know.
Yeah, because
what
I am
they're
in my
going through.
situation, right?
Yeah.
So what if I go to prison? Who's going to take care of my kids, right? And my wife, right? And my mom. So I had to say it, lah. And I was truly remorseful. Of course, I'm looking at the camera. Very remorseful. That's why I apologize. And I need a drink, man. And so sometimes certain things choke you, right?
I mean, if you get a lawyer for defamation.
Yeah, so I did go get a lawyer.
But it defeats the purpose of getting a lawyer, right?
To act on your behalf, to write in for you because you need somebody, some kind of
Or you
representation.
need someone to represent
So I
for
got
you.
Mr. Eugene Doraisingam, thank you, brother, and his assistant. They gave me pro bono. They didn't charge me. And so they wrote in for me as well. And then we got answer back. Whether favorable or not, I don't know, you see, because it's still a 2-year probation. And like I said, I'm walking on very thin line now. So if I come back, if they give me another POFMA, they could take it as,
It's a breach of the probation.
yeah, probation. And so I got to be very careful what I say lah. So it's not easy lah to do what I do. I don't say it in a manner that, oh, I'm like, there. No. Just
do
I
you
gotta be
have
very careful.
like just a personal question? Do you have anyone that, for example, helps you review your content before you put it
Yeah,
up?
so after that, a lot of people came up and said, hey, you send us the video, we'll have. So,
Like they're doing it out of goodwill, or you
yeah,
have to
goodwill.
pay them?
No. Nobody has come up to me and said, I've had people pay for my food for my whole family, man.
Wow.
So it's, to a point, I tell my coffee shop guys, anybody come and say want to pay, you just say, J pay already. Because it became paise, that I don't want to take people. Maybe that guy has also got no money, so I didn't want to do that, man, anymore. So people who help me, bless them, great. They have actually offered for free. So you see, the thing is, people don't understand how I do this. Some people sit down at home and think, what I'm going to do next, and then they plan it out, right?
So
For
you're
me-
you're very blessed from in that perspective that many people are offering the.
Oh yes, of course.
There's a
No,
quote
but
by,
you were about to say that you don't plan your
I
what
don't
you say.
plan my videos.
okay.
Like
just say what
now,
you feel.
you ask me what's your next video, I'm
You just-
blank.
Okay.
I say I'm going to
Wait
talk
for the
about
next issue.
I'm going to talk about my son, what he said today, but I won't do it lah,
Yeah.
But then I can be walking down to the car park. Something can trigger me,
So at the
and I
same-
can go to the car park now and do something or I might just go back home.
So there are a lot of things, like you're going through so many challenges, but at the same time you're getting so many blessings, which it reminds me of a quote by Mike Tyson. Those
Which
that
is?
are favored by God are also favored by the devil.
Alhamdulillah. Oh,
Makes a lot of
astaghfirullahalazim.
sense.
Either one, but whichever the case is,
Can
I
you say
think
you got a gift for this?
like what he says, is it a gift or a curse? For me, I would not say curse. I would, whatever that I'm going through is God has planned it. I'm old. I'm a bit religious, lah. So a lot of blessing. I've gone through challenges, but I've always found that tunnel for me to get out of. Always, maybe who knows? The Attorney General looked at me and said, "Okay, lah, poor fella, lah, give him a chance, lah." Give him a 2-year probation. So I'm hoping for something to to come out from the POFMA. We don't know what they're going to say.
So April is the.
Yeah, so this month, my April is almost over now,
Yeah.
right? So that's
If you don't hear back from them, is it?
I will call and find out because I need to know,
What's going on, yeah.
what's going on,
Sometimes
man.
they say no news is good news.
No.
Not in
when
Singapore.
it comes to dealing with the Singapore legal area, yeah, it's always good to find out.
Yeah, correct.
It's always because you need to know where you stand. You don't want a situation. Even if you know they are investigating you, better you go find out. Or you sitting down somewhere in a hawker center, you get a phone call, spoils your day. Say, can you come down? Or
Yeah.
come out for office, bring a bailer.
At least you're prepared, lah, yeah.
prepared.
So
So-
I want to prepare.
Okay, one more. I have another personal question.
Yeah, sure.
When you got the POFMA and the criminal defamation,
Yeah.
what was your family's reaction? How what did they think of that?
Oh.
Like immediate family, right? Not
Okay,
relatives.
so my immediate family is of course my wife. My mom was too old to understand.
Okay.
When she, my mom is gone now, just about 30 days ago. But she didn't understand because she was, getting old, forgetful a bit and all. So I didn't want to disturb her with it. My wife has been there for me, man. She's like a. She doesn't know what I'm doing. She's Indonesian. Her third language is English. But she's scared to see my videos. She doesn't want to see my videos. But the moment it was all over the newspaper, in every newspaper, suddenly all our local news were giving me a lot of spotlight. I was in all channels, all on both, written as well as broadcasting. And so she said, "You okay?" Yeah. So she was a bit concerned. And then, but, she's a tough village girl. She's gone through a tough life when she was a kid, Just to touch on her, she came to Singapore. A lot of people say, "Oh, you married to foreigner." Hey, I'm married to a girl, as young as the early 20s, came Singapore, very poor farm girl, came to Singapore as a helper. God gave her a good family to work with. She saved the money, never went out at all. Every Sunday started going for course to take care of elderly. So she became certified as senior care nurse. So she worked for the same family because they had elderly. You know, so she is tough, more tough than me, I think. So she was there. She said, "I'm not going to stop what you do, but you need to know at the end of the day, you still need to take care of me and your child and your mom and all." The hard part came from certain, not even friends. I have good friends. They're cool. Relatives were tough. You know, they started saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing. You know, who's going to take care of your family?" You know, the same thing. I think they said it out of concern, but they know me and they know I'm stubborn, lah. You know, and if I want to stand up for something, I would do it, lah. You know, for myself.
How about your siblings?
Yeah, so our family, I'm close to my brother and my sister and my in-laws and all that. I'm close to my cousins as well. So the sad part was after some time, right, the good morning stopped to come in from your family members.
Understand.
My phone went quiet. My work phone was ringing. My personal family phone went quiet. I hardly used to get a phone call because they felt that the phones will be traced. I think so. And then they don't want to be affiliated with me. So that was quite hard. But I respect them because they are all family people. And this is new in Singapore, man.
Correct.
And
It's not as known as,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, so they were very scared.
How do you?
Did
How
it
do you?
affect your job?
Yeah. So I was working in a country club, famous club in Singapore, and they came back and told me the members are not comfortable with me, and so they said, "Oh, Jay, we need to talk to you." So you kind of sense it. Whenever people say they need to talk to you,
like-
I mean, it's not like I'm ready for a promotion. You know what I mean? You're gonna give me a raise. So I said, if you're gonna tell me something about what I'm doing on the side, first they would say they were okay, no?
You ask them or
No. They would, when I'm walking the corridor, say, "Hey, Joe, good. These are the local fellas, right?"
Yeah.
And then because the club has management committee, which are foreigners, and the members, we have foreigners as well. So they came and said, so I said, "Is it something to do with what I'm doing on social media?" Say, "Yeah." "So are you going to ask me to stop what I'm doing or leave the job?" Say, "Yeah." "Then just do it on the phone. Let's be amicable about this. No, don't waste your time. Send me an email. I'll just acknowledge it." I say, "Yeah." I say, "Any particular reason you want to give me?" "The members are not comfortable." So I say, "Can you give it to me in writing?" "Oh, no, we can't. This is personal." But I'm divulging it now. So a bunch of foreigners can come here and say what you can and cannot do. And the leaders of the country allow it as long as they feel it's okay.
But do you suspect that there might be someone else behind?
I mean, these are, like I said, we cannot be naive and say things we feel. This is what I've learned. I can get slapped with another criminal defamation, right? Isn't it? So
Better keep back.
yeah.
better keep
So
it on
I
the
mean,
low.
if you want to come up with your own theory, everybody's sensible enough. So for me, I take it as somebody who's there, because one of the guys who were talking to me was Ang Mo, was sitting right next to the person who was talking to me was a Singaporean, but the Ang Mo was superior in his rank in the workplace. So you have an Ang Mo telling me, "Hey, you can't work here anymore. This is my country, man. My forefathers built it. And then you're telling me I cannot work here." How many other countries will have that happen? Same thing happened before that. I was working in a fitness club. COVID, business went down. I picked it up and started showing profit. I had a knack for it, lah. I can sell. And so the owners of my club, who were foreigners, had made me partner, and they sold it off to another international agency. They bought it, came and sat down. This Malaysian girl and this Brazilian lady were sitting across the table and said, "We can offer you this. That's it. which was almost a slash of my pay to 50%. So I
Okay.
said, I can't survive with this. How can you do that? No, this is what your offer is. So I went to Ministry of Manpower.
Okay.
I went there, I said, I have a situation where the new company has bought over and they have slashed my pay down, taken away all my commission. My work is commission based because I sold the club to people and all that, right? And they said, I have to take it. And then if not, I have to leave. So they asked, very simple, no? They asked, did they sack you? Say no. They still offer you a job? Yeah. Then we can't do anything about it. You know, this is how you feel, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then we have the unions, independent unions.
So what would be I mean just to look at it from us. So it's better to just take the sack and then go MOM or will they also say
yeah, it's a very tricky situation, but let me tell you, you're gonna lose anyway, lah. Find another job, lah. You know.
But it's a private company, right? So
Yeah. So, but then you must have an arena where people say, listen, we need to protect our workers. We have unions who are strong. We need to protect. We need to put policies in place so it doesn't happen to every other person in Singapore. Foreign companies coming in. Why this is actually overlaying into another situation on why Singapore is what it is today. Labor is low in terms of you can get foreigners coming in, they can get maximum benefits because our salaries are not high. Okay? So all the laws are in place to protect the foreigners coming in with their investment. But look at our standard of living. Our wages are so low. It's kept there because during the great Goh Chok Tong's time, there was, he came up with this neo-liberal way of thinking. Foreign investment coming in. It's a long history, lah. I'm just keeping it very short. So what he did was he brought in a lot of foreign workers, low-skilled laborers, willing to take jobs for measly amount of $10 a day or so, jadi. They got the job because you know why? When they bring the money back home, it's a big amount,
money,
man.
yeah.
And they don't have expenses like buying house. And so what we do for Singaporeans who have to compete for jobs, we have to take in the low-end jobs. So what will happen was there is either a freeze in your pay or you took lower-paying job because that was what was available for you to put food on the table. So again, where was the protection policy? What happened to me? I'm not saying all your policies are wrong, but look at the situation right now. When I had a situation, I went to MOM, they didn't protect me. They said, you have a job, take it. So how can I slash my pay down? Can I go to HDB and say, hey, listen, my pay has been cut down by 50%.
So you must
from
cut down.
tomorrow onwards, I'm going to only pay you 50%. You going to take it? Can I go there and do it to my car company? Cannot, right? Can HDB take it? No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's play the opposite side of this,
Yeah.
right?
Ask me questions.
Okay. As a private company owner during COVID,
Yeah.
you only have a certain amount of money you can work with.
Yeah.
So, as the owner of the company, this would be my only option. This is the maximum I can give you, for your salary.
Oh, this was not during COVID time.
Oh, okay.
It was post-COVID time.
It also depends, I would say, the approach. Like they just came to you and they said, "Oh, this is
Take
our
this or leave
final
it."
offer. Take it or leave
Yeah,
it."
yeah.
They
So
didn't even
there was
explain the
there was no
situation.
negotiation. And mind you, my club has started making money already. That's why the boss took the owners took the trouble to say, let's sell it now. We get a higher price. Because before that, because they didn't think I would pull the club up really quickly. And the time was right, and then the owner was getting another job in the Middle East, and he wanted to move there. He was an Australian, great guy, but he had to do what he had to do, lah. And so he moved, and then when these guys came in, they were just relentless and saying, "This is what you have, take it or leave it."
Okay.
And they didn't say you go, but they put you in a
They
position.
put you in a position where you
To
have
go
to
lah.
leave.
You have to
Yeah.
leave, lah.
Okay. So wait, one more thing. You said about the foreigners coming in, they take the job for less pay.
Yeah.
So the Singaporeans are
This
fighting.
was in the 90s.
Yeah, correct. So the
Yeah.
Singaporeans are fighting for the jobs with the frozen pay or the less pay?
No, you see what happened was, okay, I go back to history a bit again. So when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew then came in, the intentions were good. He wanted to bring the standard of living high. And then what happened was, because Singapore was such a tiny island, we didn't have local capitalists. I'm going to keep it very short. If not, it will be very draggy. I've done videos on segments on it, actually. So we didn't have enough capitalists. That's why they wanted the merger in Malaysia.
Correct.
Because we were so good in the way we were with shipping, good ideal place, we were good with trading and all. If we had the capitalists coming in from Malaysia, the investment would be coming back to Singapore, who was part of Malay, right? Malaya. So money will be churning. We don't
Basically,
need
it's rolling,
outside. Yeah, so we keep our own money, right? And then export profits coming in. We keep the money again. But we didn't have that. Once Tunku say you need to leave, they have to think, how do I bring in money? I don't have capitalists. Right? So foreign investments were encouraged. So, even USA was looking for a good place where can invest, favorable, government stable. They looked at Singapore. Singapore was, Lee Kuan Yew was a great salesman, man. He brought in a lot of foreign investment. So Singapore economy grew like boom. By 70s, we were there already. We were flying high. But then what happened was, by 1972, we were having 100% employment, if I got my dates right. And so then what happened? Everybody's happy. So these are the glory days of PAP. I'll be honest with you, that generation of leaders, Goh Keng Swee is the one who came out with the whole idea of how finance and economy should work for the country. So he did a fantastic job together with Lee Kuan Yew and the other leaders. So from then on, the 70s, it picked up. It just went up. And then people, they were thriving. They, good standard of living. Things changed from the time of the colonial leadership where people were paid like coolies and all. It was a big jump, right? So people were happy with the party, with the government, what was going on. And then came a time where you will reach an optimum. You keep pouring water into a cup. You will reach the brim. What's going to happen?
It's gonna, the water is gonna overflow.
Yeah. So then what happens is, you're gonna wet the floor, right? So the wages were going up, became too fast because a lot of investment were coming in. So it was different from the other models of other countries where they were using their own capitalists, pushing the money into industrialization and technology and different areas. So the growth was slow. Because slow churn, using your own guys to grind the machinery is slow. But when you have investments coming in overseas, fast, big money, investment going up, people are getting paid. At the end of the day, if the wages are going up, profit margin drops. Same thing that happened to me. If you pay me more, that's what the lady who told me about the job said. I said, why are you slashing? Because we have to take care of our investors. I said, how about the guy who's making sure they are making the money? Say, we have to take care of the investors. This was the exact mentality of the government. We have to take care of them. But what happened was, Lee Kuan Yew did try. He said, he made it a policy, you need to pay them their wages. Because he thought he can do whatever they want. What do the foreigners do? This is the scary part.
Pull out, is it?
They
pull
will
out.
say, you cannot tell me what to do because I'm going to pack up and leave. So they leave. That year, can't remember which year, GDP dropped to minus. Okay? So it was crazy. Young investors are leaving. You must understand, look at your neighbors. Look at their standard of living. You think they cannot pack up and go to Malaya or Thailand or Vietnam or Indonesia? Yeah, the government is not so stable. But Malaysia was still okay. And they can go around the region. You see, they can put their money somewhere else. So that's what happened. So what does they do? What do they do? Oh, no, we have investors leaving. What do? We don't have enough for whoever is here. We cannot lower the grade down. Like, that was your question. Did they freeze the pay? So they froze the pay. What they did, they also took out the investment of the CPF of the employer.
Okay.
So, they had to pay a certain percentage. But you pay your own CPF, they pay a certain percentage. They took that off and made it lower. They made it tax-free. They made all the policies easy for any foreign investor to come in and invest into Singapore because they thought they can start churning it out. But then what happened? What happened to a lot of people who had high pay? They were not getting it. So what happened? They leave, look for another job. Most of the job that were present was low income. People were not taking it. What happens now? There is a stalemate, right? So what happens is they bring in foreigners who can take the low pays now. Because they need to fill up the job market. Right?
So this sort of thing started in the 90s? We can
Yeah.
say, the
So
90s.
yeah. So when they are taking the low pays, now what do? You don't want to pay me, I leave lah. I can get another job. I didn't get another job. I wait and apply, get rejected. What do? Bo pian. My kids are hungry. I need to put food on the table. Apply. Whatever get, take. So that happened. So either freeze pay or they take low pay jobs. Because that, I wouldn't blame that part for the government, I'll be honest with you, because they had no other choice.
Correct.
You can't have that stalemate. What economy needs to move, right? So mistakes were made. I just feel that it was a lack of vision.
Okay.
Even on the first ministers who said we need to bring in foreign investors, were quite desperate because you know why? When the economy grows, people are happy. So as the leaders or a political party, people will vote for you. It's a
Correct.
political decision. They never thought, never mind, let's grind it up, let's go slow, let's build it up.
That's the thing about like, let's say, economics and GDP. You know, every year you're looking at a growth percentage.
Yeah.
But you're only looking at last year's growth percentage and you're looking at the future's growth percentage.
Yeah.
But you're not looking at 2-3 years back where you actually had a big jump, and then, because percentage change. How you calculate percentage change? You just look at last year and this year.
And also, you must understand, there was COVID during the time. I'll be fair. COVID was a tough time. And still the government did support a lot of businesses. Even me, I was getting paid my salary. They supported the owners of the business that were taking care of the fitness club. I got paid. I'll be honest with you. And so the government came in very strongly to support. But then you must understand, you have the reserves there to support in times of crisis, right? So you have to pull out the reserves.
I mean, also, we got to take into account, like, COVID, yes, a lot of people lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
A lot of people made a lot of money.
A lot of people made a lot of
Yeah,
money.
so what I don't know, I can't talk about.
Like in my industry, logistics, like
They made a lot of money?
Bonuses were, at the top.
Really?
Like 2020, 2021, 2022 was like the peak for us. It
Okay.
was like.
If I'm not wrong, we can fact check this, but COVID made more millionaires than all the millionaires that
I've heard of
already
this,
exist.
but I didn't counter check that.
Yeah.
So I was more interested in what's happening with. Since we're talking
Actually,
about
there's other stats. Maybe I'll try and pull it up right now. It's like I wanna actually check what is the, like, let's talk from the 90s.
Yeah.
And since we were talking about foreigners, we were talking about wages, and we were talking about housing prices.
Yeah.
I would like to know what was the percentage of the increase in wages from the 90s to now, and the housing prices from there to now.
Oh.
I mean, the answer is obvious, correct?
Yeah.
The answer is obvious. Obviously, housing prices went
It's
up.
crazy, man.
But it would be interesting to know what is the difference in
I'm not an
percentage.
economist, but I'm going to answer you like a layman's term. My father with a pay of
I think you can get landed for over less
$2,000,
than,
he had a 5-room flat, man.
I heard you can get landed
He
below
was the
10k.
only sole breadwinner. He had to pay for our education, and he managed to have some money saved up, and our loan periods were very short. So
Like 10, 15 years?
so this was in the 80s and all that. 80s were like still good time lah. 70s, 80s were good time. And a lot of people might not know this, the schemes were so easy for people to reach, the poor or the rich. The policies were there. I tell you, we were living in a 3-room flat in Taman Jurong, and we got a 5-room flat in Teck Whye. You know what? How we did it? It was called an exchange program. Have you guys heard of this?
No. What is the exchange program?
Okay, so back then in the 70s and early 80s, if you want to pay your monthly conservancy fee and all. You have to go queue up.
Okay.
And then they will have this book called Home or HDB or something. They'll have this book. So my mom is not an educated person, but I call her a new age woman. My mom is curious about everything. So she saw somebody looking at houses and all. So it's talking in Tamil. It's in English. So she says, what is this about? So they explained, oh, these are people who, they had a list of different addresses all over Singapore. These were people who wanted to exchange their flat, either to a bigger flat or a smaller flat, and the government allows it. Most of them, couldn't pay. This guy in Teck Whye, with the 5-room flat, he couldn't pay for that house. So he wanted to downgrade. Very easy. So he advertises in that home magazine. My mother, my mother is champion in all this. Told my brother, you call them and you call HDB, you make this arrangement. Town council make this arrangement. Go there, make the arrangement. They just do the difference in CPF. Boom, next thing you know, 6 months later, we're sitting in a 5-room flat.
Oh,
Can you imagine this? I swear, this is what happened. And for people who are older, they will know that there's such
what
a
year
policy.
was this? Sorry.
So I remember we went to take, my form teacher was my neighbor, man. I was in college. Can you imagine? So this was
60s, 70s.
1984.
1980.
Okay, well, that I would imagine there will be a
Yeah, so 1984,
A
we
great
have
time.
such easy policies
Yeah.
that was so within the reach of the common folk. You think that's going to happen now?
Why do you think they stopped it?
Of course. How much of money can people make out of this? It was just exchange of. It's just exchange. My father gave him some money because he was in debt, lah. You know.
Okay.
You want to sue my father? He's in heaven now. So my father gave him some kopi money, few $1,000s. He was more than happy, and also another reason was his child had passed away. Young son had passed away in that house, so they couldn't live there anymore. And the fact that they couldn't handle the payment. So because my father was a hardworking guy, so we had a bit of savings, and so like working in the shipyard, that's what my father did. So we could get that house. 1984, man, it happened. So we went to live there. And we became good friends. They would come to our house. We would go back to their house and all that. We would go for dinner and all. So this was available back then. So now when you ask me, are there changes? Yeah, man.
Of course.
I mean, I just asked ChatGPT.
Okay.
And I'll just keep it short and sweet. We don't want to get to the facts and figures. We want to bore our viewers, but basically, it's just as you said, the house prices has, like the exact word was, has vastly outpaced wages in Singapore. Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they also elaborated how this is causing affordability issues and stuff like that. But
I mean, you look at the normal.
I mean, you
average,
just have to look at your neighbor to know that this is what is happening right now.
even if you're earning a $10,000 salary, lah, just say lah, okay, your house is costing you $700,000, $800,000, $500,000 BTO, madness. A new couple coming out, you pay madness. Doesn't add up, It's like a farmer trying to maintain a Ferrari.
I mean, living in Singapore, you're basically paying your debt till you're dead.
Yeah, that ties up your CPF.
Yeah.
If you're not paying for the house, you're paying for loan. If you're not paying for loan, you'll be paying for some other loan.
There's also there's also a point, I'm sure you guys realize, if you see the stats and everything, our birth rate is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
now. I don't know.
That's why one of the ministers said, what she said?
Why are people not having kids or something?
Yeah, something. I thought it was really stupid for you to cry and just trying to think what we are thinking. That's your job as a minister, man. You created an environment like that, first of all. And why is there a fall in birth rate? Another quiz you have. Do you know what is the graduate mother scheme? I'm sure you know.
Graduate mother scheme. No, I don't know about that.
Oh man,
What's
I'm
that?
shocked.
For like there's a Like basically, if you're a woman that graduate and they will prioritize you to get a housing, is that something like that?
It's a
You can have
two-sided.
more kids if you're a graduate mom.
Oh, okay. That was an old scheme, is it? It's a
Yeah,
I've
well,
heard it
Lee
before
Kuan
as
Yew came up with
in
that.
the social studies textbook or something.
Lee Kuan Yew came up with that. If you are a graduate,
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
if you are graduate parents, you can have more than 2 kids. If you're not, they seriously advise you to go.
That was during the because of the baby boomers, they were having a lot of kids and they something.
Let's not. Yeah.
uh,
So there was, too many kids and all, and our esteemed leaders thought that people who are not graduates are stupid. So stupid people who have stupid kids. I don't know. This is what I'm thinking personally. My thought. I'm not saying is that. So that goes to lend the hand in the theory of stupid people who have stupid kids.
But I'm really
Oh, we are
shocked.
safe.
But I'm really shocked by that. Yeah.
It's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
Which country or which planet will come up with this idea? This is, this
It's our choice,
particular
what?
policy of telling if you are graduates, you're smart, you can have more kids.
It's the other way
worse than
around.
communism, man.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the other way around. It's the more anyone can pull up stats. It's very easy to find in the internet. It's usually the more educated people who are having less kids.
Yeah. But then they wanted them to have more kids so they will produce more brilliant minds. But then we have an example of what scholarly minds can do to policies. So this is a fact. This is
Quality minds.
what is that?
I mean,
this is an experiment.
Yeah,
This
we
gone
are not.
wrong.
We are not saying. I believe we are not saying that policy was the sole cause of it.
Oh no,
I mean,
no.
Of course, we are
I'm
not
just
saying
saying.
that.
I'm just saying. No. That was it. That was not it. But it just dissipated as how it came.
Yeah. I mean, it
Because
was a
people were
contributing factor.
shocked, man. So, but birth rate problem is a problem for a lot of countries. It's not specific to Singapore as well. It's because of the environment you're creating. The fact that cost of living has gone up. It's all interrelated.
Yep.
You have to work harder. And you have a lot of stress because some people have to do 2-3 jobs. After 3 jobs, 6 a.m. to 1 a.m., you want to go home and say, darling,
Yeah.
let's go,
Of course
and
not.
put on the light music and, though I've got to wake up in 3 hours,
I think the worst decrease in birth rate is actually here in Asia. I mean, we have Korea,
Japan as well.
Japan.
Japan is bad.
No. Japan is still not as bad as Korea. Korea is like
Korea's-
at 0.9. It's like it's really bad.
And we had a zero birth rate for 1 year, is it? Recently, that was reported in Parliament, I think. I didn't follow it that well because
not
you
so
already
sure.
know the fact that low birth rates.
That's the. So now we go back to it all.
Yeah.
About the white paper policy.
Okay, explain that.
The white paper is about basically the policy. One of the policies. Do not take my word for it. It's just my sort
Yeah.
of understanding that there's the
Your
policy.
interpretation,
My
lah.
interpretation that
Yeah.
basically that's the policy that encourage to bring in foreigners as well to work.
Yeah.
And everything.
So that was the reason they say if we do not have enough people to sustain ourselves, with elderly population coming along, you're gonna have problems, man. So we have to have foreigners. I'm not saying all foreigners are bad. My wife is a foreigner, man. But then would people do the job that she does? Clean a person, shower a person, feed that person. You need jobs, and you also need
No,
the
but
high end.
that's the argument to it. If Singaporeans are not having kids, then we have the government will say we have no choice. We got to bring in the foreigners to sustain our country.
Yeah, but then
Because it could-
but then who made that environment that way? You're telling me it just happened like that? No. The environment was caused by the people who made the policy that way to make the environment that way. I would still blame it. You must have vision of this. If people are if cost of living is going so high, people are working so hard. Don't tell me you didn't have in that whole scholarly fraternity of yours at one Einstein to say, oh, wait a minute. You think people will be making love? I don't think so. You're going to have a falling birth rate because you have your neighbors, you have mature countries who have started having this problem much earlier. You don't want to recognize it, and then you say, okay, I need to bring in foreigners.
There is this, Elon Musk was recently saying that the biggest danger that we are facing as a society right now is the falling birth rates.
Yeah.
That people are not having kids. That's the biggest danger because it's
My friend has this theory. He just told it to me, I think 2 days ago. So the theory is this. We want to apply for a BTO. Okay? So to apply a BTO, we need to get married within 6 months of collecting the key. So let's say we collect the key at maybe 28 years old because we find someone we fall in love with at 23, 24, which is very young.
Yeah.
Then we apply for the BTO, we wait for 4 years.
Yeah.
Then we get married, we get a key, then we have a baby at 28, 29, maybe 30.
But still haven't get a house.
No, so now you're in the house, you can have a baby, whatever. So that means you have to meet the love of your life at 23. And that is being very positive about it. That's excluding like NS or pursuing your studies and things like that.
Yeah.
So to be very confident that you will meet the right one at 23 years old without getting a divorce later on in life.
Yeah.
So that is also the cause of the divorce and all that, and the BTO, like, oh, I got no more houses, things
Rushing
like that.
into
Yeah.
rushing into
you-
marriage.
you-
But there's no other way. You see, everybody wants a BTO.
Sean, you applied for a BTO before. Maybe you can explain a bit.
Oh no, I didn't apply for BTO. I applied for sales of balance.
Okay.
So I was once married also.
Okay.
And I'm divorced now.
Okay.
So
Hope you're happy.
happier lah
All set?
actually. Happy.
Okay.
So basically when I applied for the house, I mean mine was very fast. I had a very fast process because my ex-wife had a daughter. So
Okay.
Singapore basically in a way they prioritize
Yeah.
people with families.
Families, yeah.
So in a batch of like 100 to 200 people, there was only like 20 available slots.
Okay.
And I was the one of the lucky ones that got
it lah.
that
Okay.
slot. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, going back to this, I mean, I saw later on they did accept my wife as my family member and I did get the grants. But coming back to this, I actually I was thinking about this some time ago. And let's look, I'll go with what you say. What you say is exactly correct. You laid out the age for us. Can you imagine a young couple applying for a BTO flat? Look at put the time essence aside, okay? First, they have to make sure they have to have enough money for the wedding.
Correct.
Let's
Okay.
look at reality, man. It's expensive. And some people like luxury a bit. They spend a bit of money. They take loans or they eat into their savings. The weddings are done. You have your house payment now coming in. It's quite a big task. So you got a lot. You start your life. I said this before. Young couples in Singapore start their life with a massive debt. It's like almost the highest point of a pinnacle of how much of debt you can get.
You forgot there's also like if they're pursuing a higher education, they got to take
Yes,
student loans.
correct. Yeah. So thanks for putting me back. So if they were already, trying to finish their degree and all that, that is also another challenge. Or even one of their partners is still studying as a
And
challenge.
100% they have to take debt. There's
Yeah.
no way you can sustain all that
You
expense. There's no way.
And
Yeah.
most of the time, unless they come from very rich families, they won't have that excessive funds. They are also just starting off with a new job.
But then the Singapore, it's a financial hub. So
Okay.
it's not very hard to take loans,
No,
especially if you're pursuing higher.
loans are available, man. I know loan
but it's
masters.
Not only banks. There's a lot of
Finance centers.
there's a lot
yeah.
of finance centers.
No,
finance
I understand,
companies.
but these are like starting your life with a big
So
debt,
you
right?
are starting your life with a huge debt. So reality doesn't set in when you get your house key for anybody. Wow, I'm sure everybody felt
Correct.
that. Wow, key lah. Then you sit down. Even when you get the first your car keys and for you to drive off, it's the time when it comes to pay. You need to plan it out.
Right.
People say, "Oh, Jay, you lost your job. You're whining about it. You didn't plan your life. You couldn't pay for your dental." Did I call anybody and ask for money ever? Never. The reason why I'm still floating is because I've never borrowed money. I only have housing loan. I bought a car when I was doing well. I have a minimum payment for the car. I do that. Other than that, I have no loans, man. That's why we can survive with my wife's cooking alone with just freelance job. But let's look at the young couples coming in. So they have a mounting debt to pay. Now what happens? they work through. They're young kids. They're now put in an environment. Most of the marriages, I don't know whether you disagree or that. I've gone through divorce as well. The moment you live together, it's a different dynamic already. It's not like you're dating. You go back home, you do whatever you want to do. Then you meet your friends or whatever. Then whenever you want to see your boy or your girl, you go down and then you meet them, you date, and then you go back home. But once you live together, anybody can recognize this. When you're especially young, it's very challenging. And so, on top of that, you have a mountain of debt to pay. The young couples in Singapore, it's a proven fact, go through massive amount of stress. And they also got mental issues because of that. So now you have to, not only you have to stay strong to pay the debt, you also have relationship issues, right? So you put all this together in, you think they'd be happy making babies, man?
They'll be too stressed to even
That'll be
have-
the last thing on their mind.
Yeah.
There was a
too stressed to even have a kid.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying
The
it's
testosterone levels
There
will
was an
instantly
article
drop.
there was an article that came out, I think, in today's Times, or it came out that there's basically a correlation between the high standard of living and the high cost to like having I'm not exactly if they said the mental disorder, depression.
Yeah.
Basically, that was it.
yeah.
There was actually a correlation. to
Yeah,
it.
it is.
It's all related
It's all
in some
related.
ways.
As long as
stress,
the human mind is put under stress, you're going to have a mental breakdown of some sort. Everybody goes through this.
And
And it's hard to recover, man. I mean, I went through a divorce. I lost my boy. I was going through mass. I wanted to commit suicide and all that. I had good friends to pull me away. I had religion also that played a part. And it was quite a long period, man, that I was very depressed. So for you to turn around and say, just go have kids, it's not possible. So the environment that's created, the high cost of living, the mental issues that some of them might have, and the mounting debts to pay. So it's not.
like for me, I'm 28 and I proudly still stay with actually not proudly, but I have no choice. I still stay with my parents.
I mean, we all did, man.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So like
I'm also back with my parents anyways.
Yeah, my parents were back with me. My mom was back with
a lot of
me.
my,
She never left. Yeah.
So a lot of my friends, like overseas, they ask me, why are you still, a lot of. I grew up in Peru, by the way. So I grew up
really?
I grew up in South America. So a lot of my friends, I have a lot of friends over there.
Okay.
And they usually write to me because it's Western culture over there. By 18,
Yeah.
20, 22,
They move out, right?
They move out.
Right.
And they always ask him, aren't you a bit, ashamed? This is the word they use. Aren't you a bit ashamed to still live with their parents? And I told them, if you live one day in my shoes here in Singapore,
Yeah,
and
they don't
see,
understand.
You guys don't really understand. I
Yeah.
cannot purchase a house at 50k, 100k like you guys.
Yeah.
It's and
Yeah.
I have to fight. I said fight. It also can apply both ways.
Yeah.
Find or fight to find the right partner, because through a partner, I mean, now at 28, there's this basically I am not eligible to apply for an HDB BTO before.
You're
I'm
not, yeah.
35.
35.
Yeah, it's like the
35.
age and all that.
You know what's the best part? Even if you go and apply for a house, Singapore give you the grant, but you still have to pay back that. You still have to pay back. the grant.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
the best part.
pay back the grant.
It's basically another loan.
How wait? Then you have to pay back the grant.
Yeah.
You have to.
Wait. So
So they
when,
give you a 50k grant.
Uh-huh.
Once you sell the house, you still have to give back.
No, but then that means that's
There's
not a
no
grant,
grant,
what? That's a
yeah.
loan, what?
Yeah, try trying them.
So
No, wait, this is legit, though.
yeah, it's legit.
You think
Wait. Stop.
You think other dumb people never asked this question before?
No, because I really thought because
only-
they say grant, what? They say
They make it.
Yeah.
They will tell you it's a one-time grant.
No, because why they say it's a grant is if you don't sell the house, you don't have to pay back. But if you sell the house and you make
have to
money
pay
out
back.
of it, you got to pay back. And you don't get a grant again.
So basically, they think you're never going to upgrade.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the theory behind it.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
You have to pay back the
Oh,
money.
I also didn't know. I was trying to find out about this.
Yeah, so if you do, but it works for people who just say, I want to get, like for me, I just give me a 4-room flat. I just going to stay there.
And you're done.
My dying days, I'm done, I'm gone. So I'm okay. I'm not affected by the fact that I took a certain grant. And so you're not. But if you are saying, after 5 years, I'm going to sell, I'm going to buy a
You're gonna
BTO,
upgrade.
I'm going to put the money in the bank, then the HDB will say, wait a minute now, I helped you buy this house, you pay me back.
Actually, there's a lot of things that they're like. I also didn't like. I'm not aware. Like my flat that my parents actually they finished it paying off in 2000 They finished paying off in 2010. But the funny 2011, sorry, 11. And the funny thing is, it wasn't actually fully like paid in the system until 2020. Even though
Really?
So
Did you ask why?
yeah, so basically my parents only find out when they wanted to do some transactions, and basically they were not eligible for a certain loan because the bank say you haven't even paid your house, you want to take another loan. This is basically what then they say, we already paid what? So then they call the bank and they said, oh, it's actually because you have to sign a few papers to declare that you fully paid, and this, and my parents didn't know. And basically because of that, even though they still paid, in the system the bank didn't, the house is still under the bank's, like.
Oh
their
wow,
name.
really?
So
Yeah.
basically, your parents were paying what, free?
No, they were
for
not
it?
No,
paying.
they
but
they
in the
already
system,
fully paid,
yeah.
but
They
in the
just didn't
system,
hand over.
they didn't hand over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, my parents are already at an age. How will they know that they have to?
Yeah,
there
we
has
have
to be
to-
a process of handover, and no one told them anything. It's like,
Yeah, so it's just availability of the knowledge of the policies. I think that's very important, I think we found out that in some areas it's clearly lacking, which we need to improve. So, yeah.
Okay.
but we have grants, what?
Yeah, but even if you take a grant, it's still considered a debt. You still have to pay them back.
You serious or what?
Yeah.
But it's a grant. As in, grants mean they give you money and you don't.
Wait, you didn't
don't-
know that you have to pay back?
No. As in, I tried researching about it, but I didn't get any answers.
Wait, stop. I'm a bit confused.
So
You are saying you know the difference between grant and loan, right? So
Yeah.
we are talking about grants here, bro.
Wait, no, why they specify it's a grant and not a loan is if, for example, if you buy a flat and you make that your permanent flat and you're not selling after 5 years or 10 years and making money by selling the flat, you don't have to pay back. So it remains as a grant. Like my example, for me, I got this house, it's my permanent house. I'm not selling it for profit or anything. So it's a grant, the grant stays, you don't pay back. But if HDB feels that you're going to sell it, you pay me back the grant. On top of that, you need to pay the 2.5 accrued interest that should have been there, maintained, to pay it back with interest. 2.5%.
So basically, HDB thinks that you're never going to upgrade. Okay?
I cannot believe this, actually.
No, but in
2.5%.
reality, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are shocked. So I'm not. It's a shock. And on top of that, there's a 2.5% interest on it.
Okay, the 2.5%.
Approximately,
yeah.
Approximately, give or take lah. So even without say I'm wrong, there's no interest. You have to pay back the grant if you sell your house.
So I'm still scratching my head, like I'm still like.
The maximum for the grant is 50K, right?
No. You
Can you
can
go
go higher. It depends. You have your family grant. You have your proximity to your family grant, and then elderly or you can go quite high actually.
80K maybe.
80,
Yeah.
85.
I've heard of 70.
I need to brush up on the terms of grants, loans, because I need to go through a refresher
Loan is
course or
separate.
something.
Your HDB loan is separate. Your grants is for you to see. This is how they let you match up to the price of your flat. If not, you cannot qualify with your salary. People will not qualify with so little money as your monthly income. How can you match up to a flat that you're buying 500,000 to 700,000 and now it's like 1 million? Can you imagine that? So the government helps the people to match up to qualify for the loan by subsidizing it with grants and so on.
This is
You're
why.
still scratching your head.
I'm still scratching my head.
This,
I'm still,
this is why we are staying with our parents. Okay? This is why we are still staying with our parents.
Okay, but so, how does it work? You buy the house, you
Yeah.
get a grant. Let's
Yeah.
say 50,000.
No, but they let you choose whether you want the grant or not.
Yeah. You
can choose.
can
You have a choice.
decide. You can decide.
yeah, of course lah, I will take lah.
Of course we will take
Of
what?
course
I will take the highest
Really,
amount.
okay, but that's the whole point of the grant. Because they know that whatever house you take now, you're going to sell and upgrade.
So okay, let's do a bit of calculation, right?
No, they won't know. if
No,
you're
they
gonna
won't.
sell.
They won't know if you upgrade what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I don't want to
So,
upgrade? I want
so
to
the
downgrade.
benefit of that government is what? Downgrade.
Yeah,
Nobody is going to downgrade unless you're
Depends,
retirement.
No,
right?
you downgrade, you got more money, right? Then give back the grant.
but I still need to
That's
pay back with
that's
interest.
the thing.
The fact is, you need to pay back the grant. Worse, if you bought a flat with 5 rooms and you had a grant that was given to you, for example, an X amount of money, when you say, hey, listen, I'm gonna 20 years later, my kids are grown up, married, I want to downgrade, I'm gonna buy a 2-room flat, me and my wife. HDB say, hey, remember or not that time that X amount, brother man, bring me the check. Or best, don't worry about the check. We'll just minus off the X amount and then we'll pay you back the rest.
Okay. All this information is
It's
on
available.
It's available, right?
Then they tell it clearly. They will
Okay.
they will spell it out for you. So it's
Okay.
not hidden print or what. No, that our government in that sense, it's there. It's
Okay.
available.
But I think when I bought my house, they didn't explain to me about the grant.
Because
They
you're
only
a
asked me-
trainer,
So
you
you
are a
must
bit
be-
slow. So they know
You
they
must be
explain to
careful
you.
lah,
They must have a translator. So yeah, they were not having a translator. But no disrespect, Yeah. So with me they did explain. I did ask. I said, so what happens after that? Because I said, so the grants. You said, what happens after that? Because I did speak to the HDB officer because I was trying to get the grants and all because they want to give it to me, and then so I had to fight again. So they say, oh, just remember, sir, for the grants, if you do sell your flat, maybe she went out of the way, but I thought it was norm. But it was gracious of her to explain. If you do pay, get the grant, you got to pay back. And my housing agent, also informed me of this. So he said, if you feel that you can pay for this, why don't you go with a grant for your second home? I said, I don't want to sell. This is my permanent home. Or this is what you might say. But I just feel that this is my home, man. That's it. But like if you want to, like I said, I'm shocked that you didn't know.
I really didn't know. And I was
No,
actually
I am
looking for
shocked
house.
that you know and I don't know. That's the.
Yeah, I look more. I look more.
I know and you all know.
So I look more stupid than you lah.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
No, I mean you certainly speak better than me, but I can say right now I'm dressed better, so I don't know. lah.
Yeah, because I've been hit by the policies of the government. So I hope you don't get from there to here. Then you'll be the angry man at the back of the dashboard making, videos, man. So yeah, that's the
How
grand
the
issue lah.
tables turn.
That's the grand issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. What do you think of freedom of speech in Singapore?
Oh, you're free to express yourself.
Are we?
You are free to say whatever you want, as long as you do not throw accusations at us. As long as you do not go against the Constitution, as long as you do not go and offend anybody, as long as you stick within the lines, you're fine. But if you want to go and test market, test law.
No, but is one I'm scratching my head again. Because I have a question. Is it clear cut explain what constitute as what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say?
It's pretty much easy.
Like is it like in the Constitution, for example? Is it clearly defined what you're allowed to say, what you're not?
I didn't check the Constitution even when I was penalized for what I said. I didn't check. But people know they're not supposed to demonstrate. That's a fact.
I mean, yeah. Only the People's Park or something, right?
A lot of places things have happened in Singapore. Even recently, there was a demonstration against support for Israel against Palestine and all.
We will get there.
The Gardens by the Bay. They had.
Okay, yeah.
And then there was a guy who was holding a mirror somewhere. He got charged somewhere, called in by the police. So there were incidents before. They know that they will be charged, and then they still went ahead and did it because maybe they felt that they need to say their piece. But in my case, it was a bit confusing to me, honestly. Like I said, I'm not a politician. I'm new to all this. I just was asking questions of things that I was going through. And then when they POFMA'd me for asking a question or criminally defame somebody for asking a question, I was confused. So that's when I thought, is there freedom to ask then? So where is that line? Is it very grey? So yeah. So I really can't answer the question.
I think this applies to a lot of like young people like us, because like these policies such as POFMA or like just the fact that we are asking questions and we go like you got a lot of heat for asking questions.
Yeah.
And that maybe, how to say, like, it's preventing young people like us of asking the hard questions that basically, like, politicians are supposed to be answering us, freely. They're supposed to be
So-
helping us understand.
So is that how you feel? You don't want to ask questions anymore?
I mean,
I think a lot of people do
A
not
lot of people
feel-
are worried.
A lot of people are worried. I'm not only
Okay.
speaking about
Yeah, yeah,
myself,
yeah.
but I'm speaking
Generally.
Generally, I feel the environment we are at,
Okay.
like it's not. I'm not trying to say that we all like the rest are cowards. I'm not saying.
Oh,
that.
no. I'm just
saying
thinking.
that these policies in place actually, obviously, I mean they're trying to
Curb
I
what
can't,
you say.
Yeah, curb what I
Curb
say.
what
and,
you say,
know,
yeah.
I sometimes I want to say my piece and try and get some feedback from it or like at least an answer to my question, but. The policies in place are preventing me from actually asking.
See what they are encouraging you to do is email us. Go see your MP. Go see your mayor of your town council. You got question, right? Go and ask them. But the problem from what I've heard, right, there's a lot of people who message me. They've done all this and is exhausted. They don't get an answer. So what they do, they speak to people who willing to put it out on social media for them. And trust me, there's a lot of people, a lot of issues, but we got to be very careful. Like Manwai got POFMA because he took the word of a citizen, and because of financial aid they did not supposed to have received when they did receive. So he spoke out for them
Okay.
and he got POFMA for it. And then recently there was one more case of a guy who spoke about a girl experiencing some a situation about her abortion or something or miscarriage or something, and it was not true. And then this guy who's I think I forgot his name. He's with this media outlet, and then he's getting a criminal defamation suit against him. I think they're gonna
but
charge him.
from who? Like who did he defame?
No, putting out a false statement. I don't know what's criminal. Criminal defamation of my other one. Putting out a false statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
so
how do we fact check certain things?
that is the thing.
Oh, I know who. It's the social media guy that uploads the news, right? That's the guy.
I forgot his name lah.
He I think it's like I can't remember.
One
lah.
of you
It's-
can
It's
Google it.
similar to Mothership. It's similar
Okay.
to
Yeah,
Mothership.
yeah,
Yeah.
So and then see, he has gone viral actually. See, one thing about POFMA, right? It really puts the spotlight on you, and as long as
Sean is going to love it. Sean, you're going to love it. You want the spotlight.
so yeah, it puts a spotlight on
There are
you.
many things I would love to say.
You know, yeah, you curb your enthusiasm. So the only problem, the thing is, a lot of people say you said things what you felt that you should have said, and you're willing to take the chance to say it, and then you get POFMA, or even if you are charged in court, you will still have our respect. A lot of people came as, which for me was very touching for me. You still have our respect. So, so I felt that I didn't do a criminal act in the way that I went to do something stupid or
Yeah,
whatever,
correct.
rob something or what. So I felt in my heart what I did was to ask questions because I wanted to get answers. There was no other avenue of getting answers. And I thought some of the things they were saying were ridiculous, and I wanted to say, hey, come on, justify what you're saying. So, POFMA, yeah.
But from my perspective, I want to touch now a global perspective. Is it time or do you have any other?
Sure.
Like, I think what Singapore is doing is a trend that is happening around the world. Let me just give you an example. Recently, there's the case of this Australian minister. Basically, he's or it's a lady or a guy. I'm not so sure, but basically, she or he is asking to put Elon Musk in jail because he doesn't want to comply. He doesn't want to censor. There's this video of this guy who stabs the Christian
The bishop.
yeah. So this guy basically Australia is asking Twitter to take down the videos because he's promoting hatred or whatever it is. Then Elon Musk replied, "No, this is the fact. This happened. So we showing it out there are actually preventing this from happening again because this person is going to be shamed and people are going to be aware of what is happening."
Right.
So it became a big thing in the Australian parliament and they basically now want to charge Elon Musk with it. That's the first thing. Second thing, what is happening in the EU, the European Union. They are basically everything that is Russian, like we all know what's happening. Everything that is Russian is misinformation. So Twitter gotta take it down. If we go one step further and we go in way back, Julian Assange, the whole thing, the whole thing that is happening in the
See,
US.
I heard, for the first time, I heard ex-PAP man speak about the current landscape of what freedom of speech is. Tharman came up in a Tamil Murasu setting. He just before he was vying for the presidency position, he came to give a speech. And he said something interesting. He said, we are in a state of presence where the minds of people are changing. And we have to learn how to embrace it. The more you fight, he didn't say that, but I feel that the more you're going to fight the way things are coming, especially from the youth, from you guys. Great example, man. I would not have found three of you guys, one of you, maybe 20 years ago. I wouldn't have found one of, to put my face out and put up myself on social media. But people are coming up. And you know what's going to be? If they think I am a troublemaker, they think you guys are troublemakers, you wait another 10, 15 years for the youth in school right now, in secondary school that I've seen come up. The way they're going to ask questions, you think you can thumb them down and say, don't ask? They say, watch me.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so
I agree with that.
you need to embrace it and learn. You see, social media is a beast. The more you try to control it, it's going to eat you slowly alive. You need to learn how to control that beast.
Like this whole YouTube censorship stuff happened. What happened? Rumble came up, and Rumble is basically was what YouTube was back then, but uncensored, and it's like promoting.
doing very well.
Yeah, it's
So-
doing very well.
Okay.
Social media wise,
It's evolving.
it's evolving, but as Singaporeans, I believe now is not the time where we still can say what we want on certain topics, right? Like any.
Let's see with Lawrence Wong whether he changes lah. Keeping my fingers crossed.
Good topic. What do you think of the, should I say, leadership change? What are your thoughts?
Are
Personally,
things going to change?
Personally, I'll tell you my thoughts. I know people are quite disappointed when I say that. The hardcore opposition supporters. Personally, I like Lawrence Wong. I think he's a new age leader. Been in a different environment. You can tell.
I think he came up tough, during COVID and everything. They gave him. I think
and
he
he's not medically trained, no. He's not. So he had worked with the Prime Minister. So I think he was a proven entity, a person who can do the job. So, like even when Tharman was our president came up, I say, oh, you shouldn't do this. But the moment he won, I said, congrats. I'm going to give him 6 months to a year to show what he can do. And until today, I've never spoken about him. Everybody should be given a chance, I think. And the same thing goes with Lawrence. I prefer Lawrence to Lee Hsien Loong. Okay? I think one of the biggest mistake Lee Kuan Yew ever made, you know what? Do you know?
What?
Is to put his son as the next prime minister and not put a stop to it. That was his biggest mistake. There were other capable leaders, but they went with the guy who I felt couldn't handle the situation. And look at where we are right now. You can talk about his accomplishments and all, but you go to the man on the street, you come to ask me, nothing. I felt my father's life was better than mine, which shouldn't be the case. That's my Swiss standard of living. It's not. So Lawrence Wong, I hope he's got tough challenges, man. I mean, the handover for Lee Hsien Loong is lucky for him because, you have people losing jobs now. We keep hearing about this. I don't want to get into really technical terms because the numbers, we are still looking at it. And then can you imagine towards the end of the year, number of unemployment will be going up. And then there also this massive fear of a World War III, just to hype it up, So the reality is there. I hope sensible people come in. And there's small wars everywhere. And so this will counter affect us. We are a small nation depending on how the global markets move, right?
Correct.
So this is going to be an issue. So he's taking over trouble time. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. And honestly, he's got a bunch of morons sitting down in his
Cabinet.
group.
Okay.
Well, you said cabinet.
Oh, sorry. Group.
Yeah, good boy. So, so he's got to change their mindset. And then with the current prime minister taking over as minister mentor or senior minister, it's going to be a bit difficult for him. Because Lee Hsien Loong has got a different way of thinking, whereas Lawrence Wong, being the new kind of younger thinking minister, will think things differently. So, can he really carry on with this SG exercise that he's proposing to do? Listening to people, improving the lives of people. Degree does not mean anything. It's just on paper. We go by experience. We're going to make lives better. I'm going to still play my guitar. Sound like a Malaysian. So I wish him the best. But having said all that, I have to state this fact in. We still need 1/3 opposition in parliament to counter check measures.
Correct.
So that would be a great look lah. Lawrence Wong leading PAP, changing the mindset with a 35 number seat opposition in parliament.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. How can we, since we're talking about opposition and stuff, how do we I'm not even very well aware. Surprisingly, I am even more aware of foreign politics, American politics than I am of Singapore politics, because I don't even know where do I watch people discussing in parliament. I have no clue, honestly. I mean, yes, I watch videos here and there, YouTube, there's TikTok, and lucky for me. But where do if I want to see the whole 4, 5, 6 hours of debate, where do I watch
8
it?
9 hours, 13 hours.
9 hours, 13. Where do I watch it? I don't know. I have no
You
clue.
can.
Where is
It's
it?
It's live, man, on streaming platforms on YouTube. Just
Okay.
have to put
How
down
about
the
the
parliament.
TV? Do they show
Yeah,
the...
I think.
But when
Channel
do they show it?
Channel News Asia, they pick things. But if you are really interested, you can
Like,
actually
how do I tell-
type in on YouTube. Parliament today.
But,
It's live.
But is it every day,
Live.
every week?
No. Parliament happens, mandatorily 2 times in a month.
2 times in a
If
month.
there is an issue that they need to discuss further, it can get extended. But this is your main ones. So every time a parliament finishes, they will announce the next parliament. Yeah, I can be wrong, but roughly they will announce the next parliament date.
Do they mention it in social media? Do they mention it?
The information is readily available everywhere. You can just Google it, and then it's next parliament, boom, everything comes out. And
Okay.
they pass parliaments. But are we talking about this? If we are, so if you see, I was also same as you, man, interested in American politics because it was Hollywood. Everything is out there. Trump paying money to a porn star. This would have never been heard in Singapore for
Correct.
sure. And
Correct.
it's out there. We also know who is the person he had made money, and some of us, I'm sure, would have Googled to find out her acting skills, right? So. It's
I think
out
it's
there.
Stormy Daniels or something like that.
It's out there, and most countries, BBC. Look at BBC. If you look at British Parliament, is crazy.
Yeah,
It's like a market, man.
Correct.
So it's people shouting at each other, but that's hard. Raw.
Malaysian Parliament also can
Yeah,
fight. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Malaysian Parliament can fight.
But that's a lot of stupidity going on sometimes lah. Mak kau, that. So. If you really look at British Parliament, right, it looks so rowdy. But then if you want to see the essence of democracy, you look at that. It looks like the time when Aristotle and Plato and they were discussing about democracy. This looks like it, very similar. But you look at Singapore, it's very, very
Calm.
Calm, relax, boring.
No, when Man Wai came in,
I mean,
came in, the things changed a bit the way he asked the questions, but it is very structured, very proper. Nobody
Nobody
all the
shouts
hair in place.
Yeah.
Everybody gives respect
So
when they
how
talk.
do we?
One talk, one seat, one.
Yeah. So when you have to say something, and then when you finish, press the mic, sit down, wait for the other guy.
Yeah.
So it can be going on like that. Yes.
How do?
Hey, wait, I got a question. What are your thoughts on ministers sleeping in parliament?
Minister sleeping in
Okay.
parliament.
Now,
Give some context lah. Talk.
Yeah, just I'm
No,
not.
no, no.
I don't want to
That's
say
a
who.
straightforward
Yeah.
question. I just want to be fair. Now, can a football player like Lionel Messi or Ronaldo complain he's got too many games to play? Can he?
Of course
complain?
not,
Why?
because he's being paid.
Yeah. So, the obligation is there as a minister for you to represent somebody in parliament. We have all gone for conferences and meetings, and sometimes it is boring. Even for me, I like to listen now so that I pick out certain areas and I can explain to people or talk about it. But some of it is so boring. It's so dry. When Murli Pillai speaks, it's boring. No disrespect to Murli Pillai, but some people are not good orators. Some people cannot. Like when Lee Kuan Yew speaks, even I think the ants on the wall stop. What is that guy saying?
Everyone stops to listen.
Everybody stops to listen.
But that's what we expect
the
out of a
birds
minister. You see.
No, but you see, like I said, this is such a huge subject, but I'm glad you brought it out. Okay, why do they sleep? First of all, they're tired. They're bored. You can't chew a gum. If you chew a gum, people say he's chewing a gum inside, right? I don't know whether you can eat or drink coffee or whatever. I don't know, because in my class, I encourage students to eat peanuts and drink coffee, whereas the teachers doesn't allow, which I find ridiculous. They rather put them in detention. I'd rather let the boy eat his peanut or drink his coffee, so he's paying attention, or the girl paying attention. So I don't know whether they can do that. So, I feel that the obligation is not meted out. They shouldn't sleep, but too bad. So if you feel sleepy, the best thing is to walk out and wash your face, like what students do lah.
Correct.
So if people find it, people who are struggling and they want you to put out a policy that's going to save them. Here you are earning minimum 15,000 a month, and you're sleeping. So it's not right lah. But too bad, human behavior. You're tired. Those are.
God damn it! If I'm earning 15,000 a month, you ask me don't sleep for fucking 1 week.
I mean, you say that now lah, but in terms of when you have finally get promoted and increase,
They shouldn't sleep. The fact is they
work.
should not
They
sleep
should
in
not sleep.
parliament.
Sean, you are doubting my capability of being a money whore, like. No, I'm just kidding,
Yeah,
No, but,
so-
but yeah,
I'm not
but-
putting myself in the market. That's
No,
not what
okay.
I'm saying.
So, minister sleeping do you think there should be a
Fine imposed.
fine?
a fine? Yeah.
Yeah, this is being proposed by a lot of people. But then you must understand, most of the time the ministers caught sleeping, most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, most of the time is the PAP ministers. So do you think they're gonna whip themselves? But like Tamil movie, take the belt and hit yourself or do something wrong, it's drama. No, I don't think it's gonna happen. So a lot of people say, hey, find that person. But if the person say, I was not feeling well, I'm having a very high fever, and I took medication, what are you gonna do?
Just take MC lah.
Yeah, but then they need to be in
Okay
parliament.
lah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
so in human nature lah, for me, I won't be so critical about it. But when it's time for you to make a policy and speak about the policy and make it clear, do that. When you are called upon to put up your reasoning, put it properly. Do it properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question. Thoughts on Pritam Singh?
My favorite man. Okay. What's your thoughts on Pritam Singh?
Like, what's your thoughts on Pritam Singh?
I have a lot of thought on Pritam Singh.
I think I look like Pritam Singh.
But do you think like Pritam Singh? Yeah.
Okay, maybe-
I think he's got what it takes lah.
Smart man lah.
Yeah, smart guy. A lot of people say the opposition does not have a leader to be prime minister. I differ.
I doubt.
differ in my opinion. I think.
But what is it about him? Is it the way he speaks, the way he carries himself?
Let's start with the
like
latest
the way he
news.
speaks.
Let's start with the latest news about the Straits Times. They said something which was factually incorrect
Was
or
it the
something.
one that Sesam was saying he can be a prime minister if they want majority? Was it about that issue?
I can't remember the context, but I remember
He
someone
corrected
telling
them, right?
Yeah, he corrected them.
So he said he did
He
not say that.
POFMA.
Yeah,
He
so,
spoke more
so there was a correction notice that he put out. It said, no, I did not say. I still think there will be majority. See, this is like a double-edged sword. If you're saying you want to fight for the rights of the citizens and you want to be the alternative voice, you must be able to. I speak for myself, not for Pritam Singh. Don't get me wrong. This is my personal opinion. As a person who is a politician and as a leader of your party, you must be willing to say
listen, if my party wins the majority, I will take over this country and I will do my best. Instead of saying, PAP is still going to be the majority, we are there as a counter check measure. Nothing is wrong with that, but it's
There should be that fire.
the lack of ambition, the
Yeah.
lack of that fire.
But as a
But psychologically, the voters want to hear that.
uh
That's what makes him the politician he is.
Correct.
playing the long game.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
A lot of other ministers have not learned how to do it. JB Jeyaretnam, fantastic orator. When he speaks, man, people listen. You know, didn't know how to play politics. He was a fantastic individual, a person who wanted to do good. But he knew Lee Kuan Yew and the cabinet back then. He didn't know how to weave his way through. Same with Jamsi Tong as well. They were people who just want to speak out. But Pritham in the beginning was a bit on fire. If you look at his election rally speeches,
Correct.
he's a different person on that rostrum than when he's inside Parliament House. Parliament House is just being a politician.
Do you think it's because of the Raisa case?
Oh, besides Raisa case, he became much wiser. He now knows how to thread the needle. You know, Raisa case,
There's so many things we can
man. You know,
Disappointing.
the years of
Hard work.
hard work. That's the right word, right? The hard work and the sweat and the blood and the prison times of some of the politicians that have been gone into making political parties being respected by people were thrown away in that instance of the mistake of that person. You know, just because the person was emotional. I'm not saying as a person she's bad. But as a politician, you must think through what you're going to say, especially when you have a person like Mr. Law Minister, Mr. Shanmugam, sitting across the aisle from you.
Correct.
He's listening to everything you're saying. And if you're going to touch on SPF, you jolly well make sure you got your facts right. It's a fact, man. You cannot bullshit your way through Parliament and come up with stories that will earn you empathy and, you know, compassion and all. No, they're gonna tear your wall down.
this
man.
is not like this is not America where there's a
It's
jury
not
for
the
you.
opera show, lah. You know, people, you know, tune in. No, so that was a major error on Raisa Khan part. But what they did to Pritham when it came to the international court, the court, the international law review, when they had questioning him. We felt as the citizen that he was just being bullied, the way that we were asking questions. And even now this case, I feel as a citizen that it shouldn't be.
Okay.
You are perceiving whatever you saw as what really transpired, and he's there telling you it's not. So you choose to believe what Raisa had said, who has proven herself to be a pathological liar, who wants self-assurance, so she goes and tells her friends, they told me to take it to the grave, because she might have lied. Why didn't you think of that? She lied in Parliament, not once, but twice. Why didn't you come out and say she also lied again? Because that was her pattern. Why do you say no? These two did lie in Parliament? Yes, like that one is the truth. You must have lied. They pick and choose. You perceive it, and then you want to charge the man. And timing is completely off.
Yeah.
You put him off track because he's got an election campaign to run. And then now you want to put him under court review. So I feel, as a citizen, I feel, not right lah. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
How about your thoughts about the way that Pritham is using social media to show that he meets people, talks to the community.
Yeah.
He's on the ground, basically,
Yeah.
right? So do you think that social media is like a key factor that would affect future elections in a
Of course.
benefit or, negative
the
way?
social media is the one that opened the Alibaba cave lah. This is the key lah. For the people who are sitting at home and banging our walls against our head against the wall when we found out that we had to pay back grants with interest. this is the avenue. And because we are not supposed to do demonstrations, and we are not supposed to, go show, express whatever we say. Social media is an outlet for the person who want to relieve their stress and call out facts at times and also ask questions at times. Social media is the platform now.
How can how can we encourage, or what can Singapore do to encourage more young people to be active, or not active, but maybe just be involved in politics? When they go to the voting place, they are more well informed. What can what they used to do?
It's so many reasons. It's just the awareness of what's happening around them that's important. If they're living in their ivory castle, they're from wealthy families and all that, they don't see the problem for the man on the street. So even for those
But
who are living
even
there,
the people that are on the street, they don't really care as well. Like
it's
if
not they don't
just,
care.
I mean, because they feel that they fear and they feel that
repercussion.
and they feel that they can't do anything even
Yeah,
if they.
so the fear of repercussion has been there because that's the system of government that's been running for a long time. You speak out anything against the system, you got to be very careful. You say something wrong, they're going to go hard on you. Even election rally speeches, you say something out of context, you're going to find yourself getting fined, being imprisoned, losing the elections that you might have won. I don't know, Like one of the elections, JBJ couldn't contest because he was fined a certain amount and also went to prison. Elected member of parliament couldn't stand for a re-election as well. So the reality is there. And so also you must understand, through the ages, PAP has won almost every election from 1959, if I got that right, up to 1981 at Anson when they lost to JB Jeyaretnam. After that, they came up with they became quite scared. They came out with the GRC policy. So with that, you can't touch PAP for many years. So people know they're going to lose. You don't vote for PAP, you're going to be on the losing side. So the fear was there. But let's look at the psychology of people now. The moment right now is no more the 20 or 25% of votes coming in for the opposition. Though PAP might turn around and say, look at our man Tarman. He got 75%. Tarman is not the yardstick of PAP anymore.
Correct.
He won on his own popularity. He is a person that's respected by all religions or all races. And we wanted him to be our prime minister, correct?
Prime Minister.
And which I thought was so stupid. Because if he had been the prime minister now, nobody can touch PAP for another 50 years. Because
agree.
with Tarman, you know how this is. PAP, we have a different mind. This is how he talks, right?
Yeah, correct.
Such calm, such intellect. I mean, world leaders sit down and listen to him, Same like LKY. They have different... LKY is fiery when he speaks. Tarman is the calm breeze that puts you to bed and say, I'll take care of you. So if you had put him as prime minister, you don't need to worry already. But the only problem would be, Lee Hsien Loong cannot say, I will be the mentor minister. Because you cannot go and educate the Sifu, which is beyond the Sifu, the student that has become the master.
Correct.
So, he might be out of the job. So, but put aside, so he's not the yardstick to measure PAP success anymore. People are saying 30%. No. You look the averaging of the last two elections, is no more a 30% averaging already. They're hitting at about 40+%. So if you go, I'm talking about Workers' Party and PSP. SDP is not that the planets have not shifted for Chee Soon Guan and Paul Tambia, which are great, will be great politicians in Parliament. Just these two parties. Workers' Party will be at a higher rate slightly from PSP. PSP only tested, so not much data to collect. But if you look at them, they are hitting at about 43 to 45%. They even hit like 48 or 49% in West Coast. So they are not averaging at 30% anymore. If you are an idiot who's been living in a cave, if you say, 30% of people like opposition. No, you're hitting 40+%. So now the voter, with this knowledge, if you put it out there, it's going to say,
listen, we are at 44, 45%. My vote counts.
Correct.
So if I can put my tick in the right place, I can push it up to 50.1%. That's all I need. For my side to win, my life will change. And if you look at the current climate, if you take the number of seats that, from what I think Workers' Party PSP and SDP will challenge, will make up the magic number of 30 plus seats, which is 1/3. I don't know about the other parties, so I can't speak about it.
Hey, I have one question for all of you. Do you guys think that Singapore is ready for let's talk about years across lah. Not now, because I don't think it's possible. But it's in the future. Do you think Singapore will be ready for opposition majority party in parliament? In my opinion, I think I don't think that, you know, it's tough lah. It's like I don't think Singapore will be ready anytime soon lah. For a party that is not the PAP.
A change is coming whether you want it to happen or not. So whether it's the opposition or it's the current party, it doesn't matter.
If we look at the
A
situation,
change will come.
because if we look at the situation right now, especially, you know, a lot of people feel, you know, there's so many proxy conflicts around the world, World War III, this and that. How will opposition manage, especially geopolitics, especially when we see our, you know, we see what's happening around the world. How will
You
they?
got anything to say? What do you think? Would you like to see opposition as a majority party? I would like to ask him a question.
For what I can say is, I mean, to me now we are in Singapore, we are really living the life. So
Okay.
to me, however it may be, we just have to see for what can he goes. Where can he take us? You understand? Hopefully maybe it's something better, who knows?
So, okay. So my thought will be, like I said, if Lawrence Wong comes in and make changes like what you say, we will see a different landscape. Then the faith might be restored. But you must understand, we are looking at candidates from 1981 till now. The type of candidates that are coming in is amazing. You look at the talent of James, Sylvia, Manwai, Hazel. You know, they're getting better and better. Tan Cheng Bok, amazing man, met him many times. Amazing man, great stories to share about Lee Kuan Yew because he was a PAP minister, you know. And so, and then you meet people like Chi Soon Guan, Paul Tambia. It's not Pritam Singh. It's like the caliber of the candidates that been attracted into the opposition who have social service identities. These are people who are coming into politics not for the money, but for the fact that they want to help people, knowing very well there's a big wall in front they have to climb, willing to lose their family, you know, relationship, jobs. They're coming in. So imagine the passion they have. They really want to help. Compared to the guy who's heading NTUC, he might be standing in an election and this maybe, you know, knows this person in the army who has got no connection to what's happening in
On
the
the
ground.
ground, yeah.
The ground.
So detached. And then you have ministers like that coming into PAP. That's why I said, if the mentality change, landscape change, things will change. But the way it looks, I see a 20 plus seats for the current election coming. Okay, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we hit the 30, 35. But if Workers' Party and PSP keeps climbing, you're going to see close to, the moment you hit 40 seats, I tell you, even the 30 plus seats, right, the ministers at PAP need to sit down and think about what's going on and make policy changes. But they have put themselves into a car is driving fast towards the cliff with the rising cost of HDB flats and other costs increase. the fact that we don't match up, you know. So that's like a suicide car going to the cliff. So, and you can't change things around within 1-2 elections. So alternative voices will get popular. You're going to hit a position where PAP has got about 50 plus seats and opposition has got 40 plus seats. Then you can see the fireworks, you know. So opposition change. Maybe in my generation, I might be able to see an opposition as majority. I would like to see that, man. But caliber, candidates.
Yeah, we always gotta. I mean, after all, we are meritocracy. Like, what was the word?
Meritocracy, yeah.
Meritocracy, yeah.
What do you think about the younger generation now, and with their politics direction for Singapore?
Some are very interested, as I've got a few followers. Some are very interested, very engaging, very into politics. Some are completely can't be bothered lah. So, you see, once the parliament setting changes, when the discussion in parliament becomes really very clear and the policy they're making is going to make a difference between whether you can use your Medisave for dental care or not, you will sit down and watch it because it's close to your heart. Or your mother or your father paying Medisave. Then people start. Then that challenging situation must be presented, not like right now. You have a few of them speaking, but most of the time when the ministers come out and ask questions, they are put on very short leash, you know. The Speaker of the House always does that. And I've mentioned this before, you know. He will let the other speaker, cabinet minister, go on for a while, almost making an election rally speech, which has been done before. I forgot. I don't want to mention names. And then when the other speaker came to ask a question, the Speaker of the House said, "Oh, you got to keep this short." Why? Why do you want him to keep it short? Because you got to go for lunch or you need to go and take a leak? No, what? Let him speak, man. He's representing the people. Let him speak. Give them the same leeway as what you would give for your cabinet ministers.
Equal time.
Rights, that's it. So when that kind of heated exchange takes place and really come out a solution, and when PAP puts out a policies that doesn't really sink in, 1/3 come out and say no. First time we're going to see in the history of Singapore Parliament a policy doesn't pass through because they don't have more than 2/3 majority. That's when you should sit down and watch.
Yeah. I think honestly, right, after today,
I mean, for people to watch politics, it's basically they have.
Right
to
now it's
be,
very boring lah, bro.
I mean, I mean, it is boring lah.
I will so sleep.
Even-
Sometimes I do review it. Boleh tahan. Stop. Go watch Manny Pacquiao fight. really. That keeps me awake, and then I've got to filter back in again. I watch a Manny Pacquiao fight, and I'll filter back in again.
I mean, even if I go YouTube and watch also, I will feel damn sleepy. And plus, it's like 3-4 minute video, and I'm like, fuck.
Unless you have an interesting thing like the Ride Out Saga and you know the affairs of the ministers.
Actually, you know what would be good if we had someone like maybe a YouTuber or someone that just does
Make things
just
interesting.
breaks down the review of the whole
Have,
parliament.
they break. Okay, I went to YouTube. They have a breakdown. I forgot his name lah.
But is he
he's a
entertaining?
Singaporean, so he only does
Entertaining?
he only had like 600 views just now. I was just watching him.
Okay.
He does a breakdown like parts of his video, and one of them is 3 minutes. The one I just told you.
Was it good?
I was listening until I keep looking at the time going to finish. Right?
This shouldn't be the way.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking.
Yeah, so,
my God, I'm trying to find someone like interesting to listen
So
to.
I wanted to do it, but it's very time consuming to sit down and watch through 9 hours of what a person said, unless somebody's paying me for it, because I still need to go to work, man. So it's really mentally draining. So I can just pick out small 1 or 2 bites about it, but you know, like I said, if this was a full-time job for me, I will sit down, go through analyzing, and make fun with it. Maybe even call you guys on the show. You know, so, whoa, did he just say that? You know, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
We see, then that's why I said, then another, you just hit the nail on the head. If you have content creators that can make it interesting.
We should encourage it.
Yeah. So it'd be fun to watch, man, you know?
I think now it's time to put our hands in the fire, don't you think? I think
No. You're not putting your fine in. You're just translating that jargon of whatever gibberish that they are saying in political language for the pachi and the machi and the
Anne and the Akka to understand, for the old folks to understand, or not the, sorry, sincere apology. For people who don't understand the jargon or that English that's presented, you can make it very simple to understand. That's what I have done sometimes.
And break it down.
Break
Break
it
it
down.
down,
Not
yeah.
only the what they said, but the demeanor in the way they say it. If you were to watch the ride out thing, the way Shanmugam spoke, I asked Mr. Shanmugam, what happened to the gunslinger that was going after Pritam in the Raisa Khan's case, or speaking to Raisa Khan as well? You were so gung-ho. Now you're so subdued and mellow, putting on your cardigan, looking like a grandfather who's going to go and look for his easy chair.
He's
to
a
sit down.
strong grandfather. I was watching his lifting.
Oh yeah. He's got personal train. He's got money to train, you know. So you see, the demeanor changes also. So these are the things that people don't see, but it can be made interesting. So think
That
about
is politics.
Yeah. So, think
actually,
about it.
I got an interesting topic about
Wait. Sorry. Go ahead.
how do you think, there was if you go back to October, not October, October, right, where the whole Israel-Palestine conflict
Are we talking about that now?
I think wait.
no, it's still related to PAP and Workers' Party.
Okay.
My question is, how do you think PAP handled their response, and how did Workers' Party handle their
Wait, is your video on now?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on.
so we're really talking about this. Okay. So what was the question again? How do I think PAP handle?
How did PAP handle the Israel-Palestine response initially versus how Workers' Party did?
I think I didn't follow that part, but I know I watched how PAP responded. I always felt that you being a small nation, you need to just go and say we will send in aids, no matter who it is, for the people who are suffering. And but I think
We're talking about
initially-
the initial response, because I don't know whether they did say that after that.
Yeah, so they did send, but before that they said Hamas is a terrorist group, and then we condemned the attack on Israel. I think there was a full stop after that. And
Okay.
then they didn't condemn the attack of the...
Palestinians.
No, but they did say we must retrieve the hostages, and we must have peace talks.
Peace talk, okay.
Yeah, so I think that was the rhetoric that kind of bent towards it really. So they did say that.
And Workers' Party?
I think Workers' Party,
I think they were
more
more
pro-Palestinian.
pro-
I thought, like, if I'm not wrong, like I guess I didn't really follow.
Like, they
I think
still
that was
condemn,
during
but
the,
at the same time, they did
yeah,
acknowledge
because
the
so
history
that was the
behind it.
month of Ramadan. I had to go through a lot of challenges, so I didn't really pay attention. But I think it's come to a point. I mean, since you said it, I have to say it. A person who respects humanity, and I feel as a, just for the sake of humanity, people must all come out in a unified voice, forget about politics, and say stop killing innocent people, no matter who it is, where it is in the world. And it's not a religious issue; it's a political issue about land grabbing. That's it.
Yeah.
But don't grab the land and dehumanize Palestinians. Yeah.
I agree with what you have said, but at the same time, I wanna play this the upper, like the
Yeah.
devil's
Yeah,
advocate
yeah.
as well. We have to consider Singapore's ties with Israel.
Yeah.
It has been there for a long time as well.
Okay. So
Like the whole the army and everything was set up thanks to the Singapore Armed Forces.
Yeah.
Was set up thanks to Israel. So there's some history behind it.
my wife
So-
just messaged me. Say, what time you coming back? Because I got to babysit my boy. She didn't know we were talking about world issues. So what was the question again?
No, like I'm saying that it is especially as the majority party, it is difficult for them to just throw away like years and years of relationship.
Oh, you're talking about past relationship.
yeah, the past
Okay,
relationship of
okay.
Singapore and Israel as well.
You see, they have kept with the rhetoric that, listen, if we need to keep an open channel, so even if they're doing something wrong, so we can always be there to speak to them about it. And, it's good to have relationship with them. We don't cut them off. People say, oh, stop them, stop talking to them, send them a message. No, we want to have an open pathway to speak to them. I agree with that. That's a very politically right answer to give. But then if you have a person who is a numbskull, I see that in Netanyahu. I'm not talking about all the Israelis. He's a person who is like a devil. I'm talking about Netanyahu. If he's so vehement on just getting to his objectives, because he has people who are speaking out against him in his own country. There are demonstrations. They say bring back the hostages, and he's not doing anything. He just wants to go and get what he wants. He says there are Hamas hiding everywhere, and he's just killing civilians. 30,000 already. What do you want? So if you have a friend who's always abusing innocent people, do you still consider him as a good friend and not tell him, hey, you need to stop, man? And if you don't, then I'm not going to be your friend because it's wrong. So you need to put your foot down and go in a bit harder and say it's wrong, rather than say, oh, we need to keep our channels open. Yeah, okay, politically, you're a politician, that's what you say. But as a citizen, a person who respects humanity, I would see it differently. Yeah.
I mean, this exactly what's happening. I think actually, I wanted to say the US is trying to, even trying to say things against Netanyahu about his.
You American people, you people, an amazing thing happened recently. I don't know, I'm sure you guys know. Columbia University in USA, all right? There was a sit-in by the students who demonstrated against the Israeli government.
It also happened in, if I'm not wrong, one tech company. I don't know if it was Facebook. Google.
Okay.
Yeah, they did a sit down as well.
So what happened was, the university said, if you don't stop what you're doing and go back to your classes, we will stop you from carrying on the education here. The students didn't move. And they said, you're going to get arrested. Students didn't move. The police came to arrest them. The moment they arrested them and trying to get them away, another bunch of students came and sat down. And another bunch came and sat down. And another bunch came and sat down. That triggered a domino effect with a lot of other universities in US. Everybody started, even the lecturers started, the staff started coming and sitting down, demonstrating. So he sent out a very clear message. We do not stand with our government. That's what the American students were saying. We stand alone in support of any innocent lives being lost. It was a humanitarian aid. They came to answer that. That's why I'm saying you need to come for the calling of humanity. If you're not there, how do you stand in front of your Lord on Judgment Day and say, I did something. I did a content on Palestine to save lives. It is not a religious issue. I do not condone Hamas. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people say, Hamas. Their mindset is their manifesto is they don't recognize Israel. And they putting it out as a religious issue. People need to understand it's not a religious issue. It's a geopolitical issue. It's a land grabbing issue. That's it.
Recently, there was this vote in the United Nations. I don't know if you heard about it.
There were several votes. One was to cease fire during Ramadan.
But the most recent one was...
Another one was to accept Palestine as a country or a state.
And who vetoed it?
USA
the US.
rejected.
But
so
why? That's the question.
If you do not... if they are recognized as a state, what happens is you can
unilaterally vote in the UN about it, I guess, right?
But if you get one veto, you cannot. That's it. It doesn't go through. So the US did injustice to this because they are talking about the two-state solution, but you do not want to recognize one state officially. And when Israel penned down the idea of an Israel state in 1948, 13th of May, 13th or 15th of May. On the same day, US came back and said, we recognize you as a country. Just like that. So why can't you extend the same to Palestinians? It will get them to the table for peace talks. But then again, peace talks is another thing, we don't know whether these children can handle it. That's another issue.
Okay. Let's. I want to sidetrack a bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
What is your take on boycotting certain companies?
That are supporting Israel.
That's
no,
not a
no,
question.
that's not a question? No?
trouble, man.
That's not a question?
That's not a question.
Is that a question?
The question is
Don't
what?
go to McDonald's and go to Starbucks where people are talking about. Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
yeah. So, what is your take on boycotting companies? That's all.
Just boycotting companies? So this, man, you have gone soft, bro.
No,
No, I mean-
there is a reason I asked the
Okay.
question in this way.
Okay.
See, this you've got to be very careful and answering that. Lah. You can get into a lot of trouble. Because then you put yourself in a situation where you are starting a movement, and that's against our constitution. And so I understand the youth and the fire in you want to ask questions, but we got to be very careful. So certain things we have to keep close to our hearts, and so
Okay, so
yeah,
let me answer the question.
you want to answer?
Then after that, you guys can give your take
Okay.
on it. All right.
Okay.
I don't agree with boycotting companies.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason is this: if you boycott McDonald's, for example, who is working at McDonald's? It's our own people.
I know that argument.
Yeah.
Singaporeans working there, yeah.
Also, McDonald's is a worldwide company. So there are other companies that bought over a certain, like let's say Singapore. Who owns McDonald's in Singapore is Han Pao Pao. Right? Whenever you pay now, McDonald's, Han Pao
yeah.
Pao, yeah. So they own, Han Pao Pao owns Singapore McDonald's
Some of the
franchise.
franchises.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is Han Pao Pao directly related to Israel? I doubt so. It could be not. I don't know. Okay. McDonald's is an American company. So, if yes, you may affect Israel's economy a bit, but maybe if you compare it with the people that are working in McDonald's, they don't have a job, things like that, because you boycott. So these are your own people. So aren't you doing the same thing as what Israel is doing?
I mean, for me, no matter what, I'm still gonna go McDonald's lah. So, I mean, business still have to run.
I
People still have
don't
to get
like
workers still to-
McDonald's, so I don't.
Okay,
Okay, just an example. We are
Yeah.
using that as an example.
Yeah.
I like the McSpicy.
Yeah, to each his own. I'm gonna keep mum about this. And
Okay.
I agree with what you say. You don't want people to lose jobs or anything. I agree with what you say, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How about you?
Okay. It's a tough question because sometimes you got to look at the grand scale of things. You got to think there's two sides of it. Is boycotting organization like as big as whereas McDonald's going to have some effect, and you have to look at the balances. We are talking about a issue that is bigger than the jobs of people working in those companies. We got to look at we're talking about lives over here. So I don't really have an opinion. I was thinking about it. I was thinking both sides. Like I was thinking, okay, if we are going to talk about the jobs of the people working in the Singaporean franchise and then go in our actions, yes, you're right. But at the same time, you're talking about innocent Palestinian lives. So I have no.
But I saw you at McDonald's last week.
Yeah,
I think for me.
no, I mean I'm not trying to say that I won't eat at McDonald's lah. Don't look at me lah. But it's
So you
just,
still eat McDonald's lah, basically. So
No,
overall,
I used to love Starbucks coffee and all that, but now I just feel knowing so much that has happened, I will just feel guilty. On a personal
Okay.
level.
I mean, after all, it's just preference. If it's our preference
I
to
will feel
go,
guilty going and fraternizing the place. Lah. Nothing against the local staff working there, or it's just they put it in our mindset, right? Maybe I'm influenced. Like it's just the representation they have.
okay, because you are saying
I will see a child's face, a dead child's face when my son asked me when he saw one Palestinian father was carrying a baby that he pulled out from the rubble. The dust of the rubble had covered the dead baby. And my son asked me, Appa, why is that baby white? You know,
Yeah,
wow, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
Brings me back to that. And I did a spoken word poetry. I said, you know, I would have explained in another, you know, dimension, because the child was covered by the angel. That's why the baby is white, because it's innocent. It's lost, but it's still innocent. You know, so that question was hard on me, man. So if I were to, no disrespect for the, you know, McSpicy and, you know, whatever, but if I were to walk into McDonald's, that image and the question my son asked me would hit me. And it would just propel me to walk away. It's just a guilt feeling I have. Nothing against the organization or anything, but it's just right now.
It's very fair. It's a very fair
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the key economic challenges Singapore are facing that should be addressed?
Oh, wow. We spoke about
Yeah.
cost of living. So changes, how, like I said, change is going to take some time because, you know, takes some times to change. It's not going to happen in 1-2 elections. This is the challenge the current PAP government has. And how do we match up our pay to housing? It's non-stop. Can we match up to that? That's one. The cost of owning a vehicle in Singapore. Medical, certain things. When I did a video about the fact that I couldn't use MediSave for my root canal, you know, but they're willing to pay for an implant. If they had paid for my root canal, I wouldn't need
Need
that
an implant.
Yeah.
you know. So these are the things that they have to do. They have to really go down, look into all the different policies. Just don't collect your pay, you know, do all the big ones to make you look good, you know, and then go shake people's hand on the grounds. Really got to put in a committee, or if you already had one, they're not doing change. Look into every small policies, any supplementary policies, the primary policies, the secondary policies. You got to look through everything and recalibrate. Then only we can find some kind of gains for us, you know, as citizens. You know,
Okay.
then you look at the bigger picture about how you're gonna this HDB house pricing is something. It's wow. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Even when I speak to some of the economists, everybody's scratching their head. It won't be, and the policies they come up won't be popular policies. What they're gonna do? They're gonna freeze the price of the HDB. People will say, "But you promised us that we can sell at a profit. You freeze us." But then certain things need to be done to change that. You know, and then the foreigners coming in and buying the flat keep pushing the price up. So then you might think of a dual system: one price for us, one price for them. Maybe they're not even allowed to buy
HDBs anymore.
They just buy condos. Or person of a certain salary cap can only buy private houses. So there will be very unpopular policies, but you need
It
a
has to
leader
be
who's
done.
willing to do it.
Okay.
People need to accept it.
What do you think of ministers who? I'm phrasing this question in a wrong way.
Okay.
I don't know the right way, but
Okay.
a minister who doesn't have experience in the ministry of whatever,
Okay.
and he after a few years they change. Oh, okay, you go into ministry of something else. So like, they are switching ministries.
So you're asking whether there should be term limits?
No, like,
Or they
why
shouldn't
is there?
switch?
Why are they switching without the expertise? You get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, some people have the knack to be able to learn fast and do things well. Some people, even in their own industry, they just perform like morons. So it is actually the capacity or the capability of the leader. Like Lawrence Wong was not a doctor, but he handled COVID, you know. Then again, I also have reservation because the whole world is speaking about COVID. I would wish the Singapore government come out and made a statement and tell us what's going on. Because you hear about so many things, right? About
Correct.
vaccination and all that. I'm not going to touch on it, but it'd be nice for our government to address the issue, to put us at ease, actually. So he handled COVID well. He's not medically trained. So you can't say a person who's not in the field can't handle a business. It really depends on the capability. When Lee Kuan Yew took over, it was any other leader would have gone wrong, but by 1970s, not even one generation, man, we shot up to first world already.
Correct.
But if it's any other leader, would we have achieved that? No, I don't think so. So it really depends on the capability. Like you have this guy who's doing transport, right? And then there was a boo-boo about the, and then there's another one that I saw today that I thought was quite crazy. The new ERP system card that you have to, I don't know whether it's real or not, this video,
I'm not so
or is
sure.
it fake news?
Not so sure.
He had to put the ERP card at the bottom of the passenger seat. So I don't know. I hope it's fake news lah. I'm just hoping. But that
Okay.
would have been ridiculous, and so the screen is also quite big for the ERP card and all that. So I really like to see that what's going on. So these are the things that people need to look at. Whether and also the leaders of the party need to know whether this fellow will fit in there. And just because you want to fill up the GRC seats, you bring in one anchor minister with 4 floaters, you're gonna have issues, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more thing, since you brought up term limit, do you think there should be a term limit for the prime ministers?
I think so.
What would
Anybody will become complacent in power. Anybody.
Like for all ministers or for
all
just
ministers. I think all ministers should have a certain term limit.
Like
I
this was
think.
a very big argument actually in the US politics side. Like people are actually asking for term limits because it's just like some like
senators, is it?
like at the Senate or at the House, they have been there too long.
Yeah. So they become complacent.
They become complacent.
Yeah.
They're not evolving with the times.
Yeah.
So how long would a term limit be if you were to propose
But then the
one?
argument to term limits is that you don't really get things done if you don't stay enough.
Yeah, so what is a
3
term
to 5
limit?
years.
Okay, 3 to 5
3 to
years.
5 years.
How about you?
I would
3
say
to 5 years is too short.
too short.
Yeah.
I would say 10,
I would
10
say-
years.
I would
10
say
years.
Two term, 5 years, 5 years, 10. Look at Jokowi from Indonesia. He did 2 terms, a lot of improvement. They actually want him to stay longer, but he says no. I do not want to do this and put a hole in the constitution. So mark of a great leader. People ask him to stay. No, I want to leave. So 2 terms will be quite good lah. 5 year. It should be done. Even in Lee Kuan Yew's time, the problem with him was he was holding on to a lot of power. So anything that even to go and speak internationally, he was doing it. So there was not enough training. As long as you train, if you can train somebody for 10 years, you will have a person who will take over your job easily. It's just that there must be enough capability with the ministers coming along. So it should be only 2 terms, I think, for any of the ministers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think of senior minister role in our country?
Not needed.
Okay.
Exclamation
Explain.
mark. Exclamation mark, not needed. If you had a deputy minister running with you for 5 to 10 years, if he doesn't learn to become prime minister, something is wrong with that system or something is wrong with the man you have picked. And if you saying, I need to be in a position of power for them to call me up and speak to me or asking advice for a crisis, then obviously
There's
you
something
have
wrong
an
with us.
issue.
I
Yeah.
mean, with them.
Yeah.
What can we do to to be more like? Is there any advice you have that what can we do as young people to get more involved, to be be more aware? What should
Be
we do?
proactive, find out what's going on, watch Parliament more, question certain things in a rational manner. Don't go gung-ho like a cowboy. I've learned this. Write down your thoughts and see if it makes sense, and then email to your ministers, and then do content. Keep doing content that will, speak about what's going on. Be informed lah. Don't talk rubbish. Speak what you want, but don't talk rubbish. Make sure it makes sense. If you talking about policy, make sure you break down the policies. Get the right people on board to come and sit down with you and have a debate. Make it fun. Have more people sitting down talking about small issues. Fun. Bring that trend.
Exchanging ideas.
Yes,
Ideas,
and then
okay.
even the ministers will learn from it. Say, this sounds interesting. Why don't I do this? You have a lot of ministers going to podcasts right now. You know, why
Yeah.
they're doing it? Because they want people to be familiar with them. So you guys jump on that wagon and create more awareness of what's going on. But you need to break down the policies to let people know what's going on. That's what's lacking, you know, because not everybody understands the language used in Parliament.
Correct.
That's
Okay.
important.
Guys, if you guys have any questions that you all have been, waiting to ask, now is the time to ask.
And what do you think about the current effectiveness of social policy in like healthcare and also education?
Oh, education need to change. I mean, education needs to change. We are very far behind on technology.
For example?
Look at
AI.
India, from what it was. See, we all started about the same time. We all got independence from the British about the same time.
Correct.
Singapore, Malaya got it earlier. We got it 60%. We got it later from India. Okay, which is a slap on the face. We did well, first world economy and all that. But look who we are employing now to run as CEOs for our companies. A lot of Indians, a lot of Chinese. A lot of people from foreign lands are coming here. That means there was something lacking in our education system that didn't prepare for the technological improvements of what was going to happen in 20, 30 years when we were looking back in the 1960s and 70s. That there was no vision. So you introduce an education system of the British education system, teaching the geography, the history, the literature. But look at what the India students have been doing or the China students have been doing. They've been filling with robotics and computer engineering and so on. And look at where they are. I'm not saying social science is not important. I'm not saying history and geography is not important. But you need to have seen technological improvements that's going to happen, and you should have cultivated that into your education system.
That's actually very true.
Wow.
I really agree with that. That's a very,
Yeah.
very good point.
No, but it's a fact. you
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
So you need to change. It's still not late. You ask me how do we change economy? Now we need to. I always said, bring in the foreigners, put them in leadership position. Take on 2, 3 people who will come in as interns. Let them understudy you. 10 years they understudy you. Give them a management or a senior management position. Once they are ready to take over CEO, the guy leaves. You do not give him a citizenship. We prioritize our citizens. But we hold for 10 years. And the fact is, even now, when once you change, you start from Sec 1 now. You teach robotics and AI and all. You teach them. By the time they hit, and don't waste your time in your streaming into your arts and all that in Sec 3. AI education or robotics or whatever is going to happen in the next 20 years should be cultivated in Sec 1, Sec 2 as a secondary subject and as a primary subject as Sec 3, Sec 4. By the time they hit IT, they are at a certain level. Once they finish IT, they go to Polytechnic or they will be front runners in technology. Send them, you got money, what? Send them to top companies all over the world. Let them learn from the top people. Pay that company to employ Singaporeans to go work all over the world. 10 years later, they will come
Bring
back
them all back,
and we
yeah.
will have our own inventors and creators and capitalists will invest back into our country, which is very important.
I think now they are, if I'm not wrong, I think I
They're
saw
looking into it now.
Yeah, they are trying to make it a course for secondary school and also
A
elders.
course is not enough. For elders, it's a course. But when
Yeah.
you go and look for a job, you got a course in AI.
No use.
You will probably be sitting in the store supplying AI parts to the guy who's got masters in, artificial intelligence or creating artificial intelligence, right?
Correct.
So it's trying to put tampal koyo. I got a cert. Okay. I need a driver lah. Because my car is a brand new BM, is AI structured.
You can use the AI lah on the screen.
You can fiddle with that. So I need a driver. No disrespect. They are trying, but they need to try harder. That's why you need to put it down lah.
I have a final question, which is completely out of topic.
Yeah.
It's really out of topic. It's really random. But I just thought of it, so I thought maybe I can give it a try lah.
Okay.
What do you think of Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump knows how to play with the weakness of people, of the people he can lure. And
Any thoughts on what's
dangerous.
happening to him now?
dangerous
Yeah,
path
what's
to
happening
go
to him?
down.
I don't know because a lot of people are. I mean, even though there's no
They're keeping him on the
comparison,
low,
they're
right?
comparing what's happening.
Oh no, he's on the high now.
They're comparing what is happening to Pritam and comparing to what is happening to
Oh
Donald
no,
Trump, which is
it's
completely out of
out of
you know.
context already. I mean, Pritam is nowhere near Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a Hollywood presenter lah. I mean, if you want to learn to speak, that is one guy you might want to listen to because how he plays to the audience. He's just an entertainer. That's the thing. They made this entertainer into a serious model. He doesn't even know facts when he talks. Oh, sleepy Joe Biden. Oh. Everybody it's like watching The Simpsons. I think Simpsons more smarter than him. So dangerous.
But
But then a
compared
lot
to-
of Americans are ignorant as well.
compared to Joe Biden.
Well,
I mean,
if,
Joe Biden
if you
is-
take the Palestinian-Israel issue off the table, Joe Biden would have been far much greater leader. But because of the fact that he's sympathizing with Israel, there is a lot of Americans, Democrats, who don't like Biden now. So
I mean, if you look
a
at
better
everything,
candidate will be, there's one or two who
I
are
don't
better Democratic candidates.
Kennedy.
Kennedy is independent.
I like him.
Yeah, but not impactful yet, and he doesn't have that wave that is trying to.
Who will be a better candidate for Singapore? I mean, for me personally,
for?
for Singapore, like in
Prime Minister?
in the context of American politics, like will it be Biden or Trump in your opinion? Which one will be better for Singapore?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
good
in my
question.
opinion, I think
Biden will. I don't know what's your opinion.
my opinion is Trump, 100%.
Trump.
Okay.
100%. Like
So,
Biden,
what about
Biden
Trump?
cannot. Like in my opinion, Biden did like. I had nothing against him until he became president. Everything, the whole world went to hell. Really,
Yeah.
no response with the Israel. First of all, Ukraine, Russia, first issue. Then you have
The Taliban.
Taliban is one of them. Then after that, Ukraine, Russia. Then after that, you have Israel, Palestine. Then after that, now you have the Houthis attacking the ships and everything. Everything is going to
everything.
like
I
if
think
we-
World War III is not going to be one
Like,
big
even
war.
no matter how
I think
much-
there'll be pockets of it that is going haywire.
Yeah.
like
and
even
no
if
one can
like
control
like even though yes Donald Trump is an entertainer here and there, but if you put 2016 2020, where was World War III, man? There was no sign of World War III, but now that Biden is dead, we have like everyone is talking about World War III.
Yeah, maybe Trump will be able to control all the maniacs.
Trump is more daring.
So I don't know lah. This is because they are the sort of people who will change the way they run their policies, or they can have a policy but they will go the complete opposite way the next day. Very unpredictable. Trump is very unpredictable. Biden is a bit more predictable, but I don't like him because of what he's supporting right now.
But for Singapore, which one you think would be a better candidate? Like
For me, I don't think it'll be a big difference lah, because Singapore knows how to play politics with whoever that comes in.
because now
Singapore's
there's a
always
huge fight between US and China thing. So how will Singapore be
China
able?
will not. It's always that I will press the trigger, I'll press it. They will not. Too much to lose. You know, too much of business there to lose by acting stupid. It's not going to happen.
Like I was seeing some videos about the TikTok CEO, which is a Singaporean by the way, and the way he was being grilled in the American
That's the
Parliament.
normal, because they need to play to their audience. They need to look gung ho. You look at one of my favorite senators is AOC, Alicia Ocasio-Cortez. You know, so she's a firecracker, man. She's a lawyer and all, New York senator. So they speak with their heart, But then there's a lot of senators who play into their audience. It's the whole fiasco is Hollywood, lah, bro. American politics. So I find it. We don't have to concentrate on America anymore, lah. I feel that.
I
So
think
we
what
are-
is more consequential to us will be
because
China.
we are still a lot. We are very dependent on America. Actually, it's
Yeah.
the Singapore financial system depends 100% on
Yeah.
the shift, which is the American financial
Yeah.
system. Most
Correct. But then, like I said, we just sit down in the corner and then don't make so much of noise. We just do our business and let the big boys run it lah. Because we have not.
What like I wouldn't say of worries. Like let's see if China just one day decides, you know what, if you wanna trade with me, you gotta use my financial system. How will Singapore be able to cope with that?
This like I said, these certain questions you want me to hypothesize cannot. We have to cross the bridge, man. Because we need to know what is the other environment right now it's placing. You know, so really you got to see what's going to happen. So it's difficult to predict. Even when China was at one point speaking for Palestinians, they have a problem with the Uyghurs in China, who are Muslims, but they are speaking for Palestine. Now, why is that? Could it be China could be interested to go into that part of the world? They don't have a foot in it. But then they'll be great at it because the infrastructure they will pay, they will keep Israel shut. And then if people are too busy building their lives and, making something out of
I mean,
themselves, there would be no more fights. Yeah.
I mean, China is everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
even for against Singapore, the whole, Thailand wanted to do the land bridge and everything. Who was the investment behind it? China. And who are they going to undercut? Us.
Yeah. So that people are hoping that never happen because if that happens, we're going to have a big hit in our economy.
It's a canal, right? Or
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they,
it's a
they're
canal.
not don't do it, lah.
Logistically, is
because they
90%
said a
impossible.
lot of people came and say it's going to affect the ecosystem and it's quite costly.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do it. I think they might have the land route to take, but goes back to the same thing. Logistically, it's impossible to do. So let's hope it doesn't happen
Okay.
for the sake of us.
Any other questions before I ask the last question?
Yeah, we got to
Go for
end it
it.
because I got to rush.
Yeah.
Go
I'll-
for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see yourself one day being in?
No.
Okay.
Okay, you got the answer.
Okay lah. I think we got the answer, guys.
I won't answer because I'm not a scholar, neither am I an academic. I don't think people will accept me in a position where I need to represent them. I don't think anybody will accept that. So, yeah.
So what if you see the support of the people, and they are saying like, just go for it, just go for it, just go for it.
I don't doubt myself. I'm always, you can always do homework. And what I see in whatever happening in Parliament, I think all you need to do is a bit of homework, and you can be effective. I don't doubt myself, but I cannot shortchange people. And people have grown to this idea of having always the minister must be an academic or a scholar.
Okay.
So that is their mindset of the majority right now. Until I see a change in that, and somebody serious can come and sit down and have a chat with me, and then I'll be convinced. If not, no.
Anyways,
Okay.
Jay,
Yes.
Jay, thank you so much.
Thank you
for
so
Thank
much.
you
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
me. It was a
Thank
privilege.
you so much for.
This is a very great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
We have learned a lot from you
And I have from you guys as well. And seriously think about what you talked about just now. Break down Parliament. Watch. There's some guys who do it for the US Parliament. It's really funny. They go in that humor. So think about it. You guys will be pretty good at it.
we are really honestly thankful for everything, for taking the time of coming down.
Yeah,
We are
thank you
really
for
big fans
educating
of
us
your
and also
of your content. Yeah.
the viewers.
Fun for me lah. It was good lah.
Yep.
You guys, see you on the next episode of
Of Light
Light Table
Table
Talk.
Talk. Thank
Take
you, guys.
care.